on a new 2025 GMC Sierra 1500 or finance at 5.9%. Or get up to $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2025 GMC Sierra 2500 HD. In person at Wilkinson Chevrolet GMC in Sanford or online at wilkinsoncars.com. See dealer for details.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharkies. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime and Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Oh, it's perfect, all right.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Durham Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. A heat advisory in place across our area. As highs this afternoon will reach the mid to upper 90s with heat index values as high as 106 degrees. Only a small chance for a brief shower or storm. Small rain chances, but big-time heat for the weekend.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 205 points to 44,899.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We are once again out and about, not back in the studio. We are at Durham Bulls Athletic Park today.
Yeah, all that heat, we're here.
We are experiencing it all. It is toasty, to say the very least.
Oh, yeah, just a little bit.
You just heard in the weather report that it feels like 106. I agree. It does. It does feel like 106. So if you want to watch a radio host sweat through his T-shirt, YouTube on 99.9 The Fan.
For real, about to lose 10 pounds.
We'll see how it goes. But we are moving towards a Durham Bulls game. They're taking on the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp later this afternoon/evening. 6:35 opening pitch, and it's all happening right over our shoulder. So we are actually under the bull. Different than our location, but being under the bull is pretty darn cool.
It is, providing us some shade, much needed.
Some people use the bull as like a attraction, and there's promotions if you hit a home run off it. We're using it as a sunshade today. Here at Durham Bulls Athletic Park.
Full disclosure, when batting practice starts, there might be a home run ball that flies into where we are sitting. So if Tim all of a sudden just gets knocked out cold, we know exactly why.
Yeah, well, we'll deal with that as it happens. But the show must go on, and that means the Big 3 at 3 must go on. Let's get into it. And number 3 is a doozy. Number 1 is a doozy, is the way I should say that. All right, number 1. There we go. Jackson Blake signed a contract extension with the Carolina Hurricanes in the middle of the night on July 24th.
Most of you are probably in bed at that time.
I was in bed at that time. We had come off 2 days at ACC Kickoff, drove home pretty much as soon as I fell asleep. I guess he was waiting for everybody to fall asleep. Jackson Blake, coming off a strong rookie season for the Carolina Hurricanes. I have the terms here. Signed an 8-year, $5.625 million per year contract. Congratulations to the young man, first of all.
Yes,
I saw a stat. His dad played a decade plus in the NHL, 890 something career games, and with one signing of the pen, one agreement to that contract, he has exceeded his dad's career earnings. So a little bit of bragging rights going towards Jackson Blake in the Blake household.
And let's keep in mind about the 8-year extension. He still has 1 year left on his entry-level contract. So much like Logan Stankoven, you were talking about these guys locked up for 9 years with the Carolina Hurricanes. 9 years. And these are guys that are – Jackson Blake on August 3rd turns 22. Stankoven's 22 years old. Not only are you getting these guys for their still development years, you're getting them for their prime years as well.
And locked in at a kind of pre-cap raising market rate, which is where you hope they age gracefully. Rod Brindamore was on earlier today with our very own Paul Ihander, and this is what Rod Brindamore had to say on Blake getting a contract extension.
You identify players that, number one, are talented and good hockey players, but then we want guys that I say do it right, have just a great character and hardworking kids. And when you find them, you want to keep them as long as you can. And I think that's kind of what we've done here. And I think we all agree, there's a lot of talent there. I know he's only played a year, but I think it's pretty evident that it's going to be a good bet for both sides, and going to be happy to have him around for a long time.
That stability for Jackson Blake has to be nice. We'll talk about that more throughout the show because it is a fairly large piece of business being done in the middle of July for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Oh, yeah.
Fairly large as far as planning and everything else. So Jackson Blake connected to the Hurricanes for, as Dennis said, 9 years. 9. That was number 1. Let's hit number 2.
Number 2.
UNC, meaning the Carolina Tar Heels, are exploring, according to Inside Carolina, a move to the SEC, leaving the ACC behind potentially. I'll read directly from the Inside Carolina article. Multiple sources told Inside Carolina the SEC is where the Tar Heels are aiming under the leadership of Roberts and Newmark. Should UNC move to leave the ACC for another league, perhaps in the near future. A lot of people latching on to that little saying, perhaps in the near future. Sources said the 2030-2031 school year, when the ACC's decreasing exit fees dipped to $93 million to the flat $75 million threshold, would figure to become an important final line of demarcation. There's a lot of words in that I think are being excluded by a lot of the aggregators out there that are grabbing onto perhaps in the near future. This is where they're aiming. And one of the words that's being let out is, should they leave the ACC? There's exploring that's being jumped out of there a lot of times. In the way college athletics is moving, I think it would be a huge, huge act of neglect if your president, athletic director, and other administrators, board, whoever else is in your inner circle of decision makers, aren't exploring every option constantly. I talk about this a lot with athletic directors and head coaches, that no matter how much you like your head coach, no matter how much you think they're going to be around forever, they're a good coach, you keep that little paper with just like 8 names on it written in a locked drawer in your desk of, these are the people you're going to call if you need a head coach in that sport.
Yeah.
Because we've seen surprise retirements. We've seen scandals hit, and where guys that are appeared to be entrenched are suddenly on the move very quickly. And if you're not actively updating that list on people who you would call, when that happens, you're going to be up a creek of a certain kind without a paddle. I think the same is true for conferences. You might love the ACC. You might be in love with everything about the ACC. Somewhere in a locked box, you got to keep this is our order that we will call if the ACC doesn't want us, if Clemson and Florida State bail and we look around and think it's no longer viable, whatever, then you need to have your list. So if the SEC is at the top of that list, the only problem I have is that it was somehow leaked publicly. But I have no issues at all with everybody maintaining a grasp on the market in conferences. Until they say, we're fundraising to pay the exit fee, I'm treating this as we need contingency plans, because if you don't, you might end up like Washington State and Oregon State in the Pac-12, where it's everybody left, but we're loyal to the Pac-12, which doesn't even exist anymore.
Sort of.
That Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore.
Sort of, yeah.
So I'm downplaying it a bit, but yes, I do understand why UNC fans may be reacting more dramatically.
I know we'll talk about this a little bit later on in the show, but how does politics in terms of the state legislator impact into all this? Like,
I think that's part of these conversations.
Does NC State also have to go with them? That might be part of law that's set by this state. It's eventually down the line. Not saying that is a law, but you never know what state legislators are going to do. And
by the way, that's part of the contingency plans.
Yeah.
If we have to bring state with us, or if we have to convince state to come with us, or whatever it is, which do you think is more likely? Those are conversations you need to be having. I have no problem with conversations happening. If actions took place, I'd be reacting in a much different way.
Sure.
That's number 2. Let's round it up with number 3.
Number 3.
Donald Trump issued an executive order on college sports, which I'm not. We at least I stay out of politics for the most part on this show. But when it's something that directly impacts college sports, I think we need to have the quick conversation.
We're talking policy here. That's the thing. That's the thing. We're talking policy here, because that's literally what this is.
President Donald Trump has directed members of his cabinet to develop a plan in the next 30 days aimed at preserving college sports opportunities and preventing college athletes from becoming professionals. In this executive order signed Thursday, it also declares that schools should not permit athletes to accept third-party pay-for-play payments. The order states that the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, should use future federal funding decisions, among other tools, to force schools to abide by the administration's policy. The overarching kind of term is, or the overarching kind of gist is this. Contracts that are endorsement deals on paper but function in reality as de facto salaries is what they are trying to eliminate. I hear a lot of this and say this is directed at collectives, and this is directed at the billionaire boosters that are funding particular programs, and they do not want huge money going to players to play for teams.
I mean, everything that policy is trying to state, that executive order, is really falling in line with what the NCAA is doing. Yes, we have the settlement that took place with the power conferences and former student athletes, where we can now get revenue sharing, but it's the whole like, hey, we got $750,000 for you to just come here and play, and like you make one appearance or sign some autographs, whatever it might be. And the whole thing with the fair market value for services rendered, that's essentially what that is. It's just a double down on it, but there's obviously the added stuff in there of withholding federal funds if you don't follow these policies, or the threats of that as well. So it does fall in line a little bit of what the NCAA wants.
I will forever have this until someone gives me an answer. I don't know what's wrong with players getting money. I can't figure out how it makes anyone's day worse if a player plays a football game and goes home in a nicer car.
You know what? Did it impact North Carolina selling out all their tickets for this upcoming season for football? No.
It did
Revenue
not.
sharing starting this year, right? NIL's been a thing for a few years.
There were a few nicer timepieces on the wrist of players at ACC Kickoff. That's about it. I don't see how that impacts me at all. I don't see how that impacts fandom at all. I don't see why anybody, NCAA all the way up to the highest office, would be getting involved. But they are, so you're going to have to deal with it. Players are going to have their earnings. anchored down for a little bit here, it looks like. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9, The Fan. That is the big 3 at 3. But we didn't talk enough about number 1 enough. Jackson Blake and the Carolina Hurricanes got a nice piece of business done late last night. We break down the impact on the next decade and potentially more of the Carolina Hurricanes that Jackson Blake has signed the extension coming up.
Stitches, itches, aches, and pains. Strep and sinus, minor sprains. Pink eye, earaches, fever, flu. Virtual visits, physicals too. At WakeMed MyCare 365, we offer both walk-in primary care and urgent care. So find the MyCare location nearest you at wakemed.org. Walk right in, and for just about anything from asthma, rashes, and examinations to x-rays, labs, and vaccinations, make MyCare your care.
At Wells Fargo, we know what got you into your business. Whether it's manufacturing, running a restaurant, or your business from home. What you didn't get into your business for was banking. But luckily, Wells Fargo offers business checking, payments, and lending all in one place, in your neighborhood and on our app, so you can focus on doing what you love. Wells Fargo, you're good at business, we're good at business banking. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/business. Terms apply. Wells Fargo Bank and a member FDIC.
New to the area? Let me be the first to welcome you. I'm Marcy Bailey of Bailey's Fine Jewelry. We've been family-owned and part of North Carolina since 1948. We have a tradition of being voted the best jewelry store with an unparalleled selection of designer jewelry, fine diamonds, engagement rings, watches, and gifts to commemorate all your special occasions. We look forward to sharing our award-winning service and stunning jewels with you. Visit us today in-store or at BaileyBox.com to see why every woman wants a Bailey box.
Hey, Joe Fortenbaugh here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sportsbook for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are here live at Durham Bulls Athletic Park under the bull out there in left field all day today, getting ready for a Durham Bulls game against the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. That's at 6:35 opening pitch. And I'm going to relate this into the Jackson Blake contract extension from last night.
Okay.
One of the things I love when we get to games like this early, right? I was sitting here watching our engineer put everything together as players were literally walking around us to get to the clubhouse and start getting ready.
Shout out Dave Modlin.
Shout out Dave Modlin, who is bearing the heat for us. Feels like 106 according to the weather here in Durham. But then as the players got out there and started warming up, there were a couple of them, tarps off, as they say in hockey, getting a nice little tan. They had the football, right? Because a lot of pitchers and things warm up, strengthen their shoulder using a football. And they were tossing it around, and I went, oh, yeah. They may be professional athletes. They may be one step from the bigs, but they're playing a kid's game. And they're just out there running around like, go deep, like having fun a couple hours before a AAA baseball game. And then I'm thinking about the Jackson Blake contract. Jackson Blake signs an 8-year contract extension. He's going to be making a little over $5.6 million a year. And I go, this dude is 21 years old.
Yeah.
He was a rookie this past year that got to the NHL fairly young. And now he's got, $40 million guaranteed coming his way.
45.
Which is awesome, right?
Yeah.
It is like, imagine yourself at 21 years old and suddenly you got the cash to pretty much do whatever you want. It is a testament to the hard work and talent and ability and everything that he's had. But it's also, when you sign that 8-year extension, and we've seen a bunch of them for the Canes, 8, 7, 6, like, these guys, the reason why you're comfortable signing that term is because they're still going to be, early 30s, mid 30s when those are coming to the end. The Canes really are taking a bet on some young guys that they are going to be able to develop, that they are going to be able to continue getting better, jump a level, and then jump another level. And if they do that, you have an unbelievable percentage of your core locked up for a long time. to the point where he's going to go from, oh my goodness, this 21-year-old has $45 million coming his way, to, oh, look, this fully grown member of society, 30-year-old has been a part of the Canes for the last decade. Is what like that's where he's going to go on this contract.
It's like a whole, and you're hopefully, hey, look, another 25-goal season. That's you're anticipating the growth, and that's something that we've seen with the Logan Stankoven extension as well as this Jackson Blake extension. Remember, each of those guys have a year left on their entry-level contract, so we're talking 9 years for these two young guys, and Jackson Blake's about to turn 22 years old. And you look at it in the sense of, as a rookie, first full year professionally. Whereas Logan Stankoven did play a bunch of games in Dallas,
particularly in the postseason.
And in the postseason. And then last year was his first full year in the NHL. But Jackson Blake played every game up until like the last week of the season when Rob Brindamore was just simply resting guys. But he played pretty much every game this entire season. 17 goals, 17 assists. And there were some stretches, Tim, during the season where he was creating scoring chance after scoring chance after scoring chance. The puck just wasn't finding the net. And then once it actually kind of broke the seal, he was goal late there in the regular season. And that, again, just a rookie, he still has 3-4 years of like development years when you hit the prime of like 25, 26 to age 30. And Canes got him locked up for that. You look at the goal production and also just some of the underlying numbers of the way he wins board battles, the puck possession, and those kinds of things. You're banking on, yes, that's going to continue to grow. He's far from a finished product.
Rod Brindamore was talking with Paul Ihander earlier today right here on this network about the Canes identifying young talent, which is something we've been talking about, and then signing them long-term. Here's what Rod had to say.
When you invest in those kind of players, you're investing in people, and, whether they ever actually, reach that full potential, whether or not, you're still okay with them because you know what they bring in the room and what kind of people they are and the work ethic and all that stuff. So I think we've done a real good job identifying that. And like I said, when you like somebody and know it's a great fit, you want to make sure you can try to keep them around as long as possible.
What I really like about the way the Canes structure, meaning decision-making structure, is set up now is, I believe, the two most important voices in decisions like this are Eric Tulsky, the GM, and Rod Brindamore, the head coach. And you get kind of both sides checked off. I've talked about this over this offseason. I think it's been fairly obvious, just reading body language and hearing the names that he throws out, that Rod Brindamore really likes Jackson Blake as like a dude in the locker room, as somebody that he's seen working and things like that, right? He was on a podcast, I don't know, a month or so ago, and he's going, when you got guys like Aho and Jarvis and Blakers, and I'm like, whoa, okay, those are the three names you throw out there as like a certain group. Like he really likes Jackson Blake. And then the opposite side of that is, I don't believe Eric Tulsky is signing anyone to an 8-year extension without having advanced analytics that say this guy is great and he's only going to get better, and the things he does well are things that translate to long-term success. So you have both sides kind of agreeing, where you have, the ultimate culture locker room in there every day head coach, and you have, the GM with 27 patents and a calculator also saying this guy is worth an 8-year extension. And that makes it much more comforting that he'll be a part of the bet that the Canes are making. Now, the bet that the Canes are making with that kind of term, it is exceptionally high reward, right? Because if Jackson Blake takes a jump and takes another jump and maybe another jump, all by the time he's 26 years old, you have years at the end of that contract that are absolute steals.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Same with Stankoven. Absolutely.
Same with Stankoven. Same with Jarvis. Same with Slavin. Like, some of these deals, especially with the way the cap is going, I think have the ability to age in a way that, you're looking at a Stanley Cup window of 3 or 4 years where everybody else is going, how in the heck did they get these guys to agree to the contract? Which, the timing of it all matters, because there's deferred money on this.
Yes, there is.
So a little over $5.6 million a year, you're essentially getting a $500,000 discount on the cap hit. It'll be about 5.1. Same thing with the Jarvis. Kind of like, they've done this a few times, but the deferred money is no longer allowed on the next CBA, which starts up in essentially a year.
So this was his last chance to do that. And plus an 8-year deal is your last chance to do it as well.
Correct, because the max term will be 7 years. So you're going to be 8 years into the part of the NHL era where deferred money is not allowed. And the Canes will still be benefiting $500,000 a year on the Jackson Blake deal because of deferred money. It's like being grandfathered in. It's like, oh yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking of this. My in-laws have a house on a lake, and you're not allowed to have motors of a certain size on the boat. But if you already had it there when they made that rule, you can just keep fixing that motor and you can keep it there. So it's like, the new people showing up are like, oh man, I can, but there's a couple of them out there that are just cruising around. Like, there's going to be a goal scoring wing 2 years from now that someone else wants to sign to a $6 million deal and have it only count as 5.5. And they're going to go, well, how come they get to do it? And it's like, well, they were here before the rule was made.
We were smarter than you longer ago. How about that?
And the other thing is they took the chance of doing it very quickly with Jackson Blake.
Yep.
Because I want to take a little time travel back. You go to this point last year, I was advocating, and our show was advocating for at least one rookie to be in the opening day lineup, right? Because they had a bunch of veterans and it was going at least one. Notice I said at least one rookie. I didn't say I was advocating for Jackson Blake. It was like, if it's Bradley Nadeau, if it's Felix Unger-Sorum, if it's Jackson Blake, just one of them. Jackson Blake was thrown into the lineup and, like you said, never came out. Just kept earning more and more trust, right? Given a little bit more and more responsibility. There were stretches he was skating with the top line. This was a team that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and as a rookie, he was skating with the top line for chunks of time. So all of that adds up to, I think it's a really good, it is a gamble. And any 8-year contract for somebody who's not already super established is a gamble, right? Because it could go south as well. But I think it's a gamble you really try to make.
Here's the thing as well. Again, I mentioned some of the underlying numbers for Jackson Blake. If you look at expected goals per 60 minutes of ice time, Seth Jarvis was number 1 on the team at 1.31 goals per 60 minutes.
Another darling along the way and locked up for a long time.
You know who was second on the team?
I have a feeling it's going to be Jackson Blake.
It's Jackson Blake at 1.26.
I only guessed that because of the way you phrased the question, not because I would have guessed that like in a vacuum.
So yeah, and then and again, that's estimated goals per 60 minutes. So you're looking at some of the underlying numbers are there again for a young guy to continue to grow into that. That number's better than Svechnikov, better than Logan Stankoven, better than Eric Robinson, Sebastian Aho, all these other guys. Only Seth Jarvis had a better expected goals per 60 minutes than Jackson Blake did. So again, once he learns how to continue to do it at the NHL level, because you come from college where you're playing 40, 42 games or so, then go play 80 plus the playoffs. It's a little bit more difficult. You're going to hit that rookie wall.
I'm going to read just a list. We are coming up on the 2025-2026 NHL season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to read the names that are under contract with the Carolina Hurricanes through at least the 2028-2029 season.
Okay.
Sebastian Aho.
All right.
Nikolai Ehlers, Seth Jarvis, Andrei Svechnikov, Logan Stankoven, Jackson Blake, Eric Robinson, Will Carrier, Bill Carrier. I've Paul Ihander calling him Bill Carrier in my head all the time. Will Carrier, Jacob Slavin, Keandre Miller, and Sean Walker. They are all under contract through the 2028-2029 season, and the cap is going up. And
so that's the next 4 seasons, by the
way. The cap is expected to rise significantly each of the next 2 years, and you're not going to have to re-sign any of those guys. And that's a really, really good core. And if you expect 3 or 4 of them to take pretty good jumps, especially the young guys, Stankoven, Blake, maybe a Jarvis, that sets you up for a Stanley Cup winning window where you realize the last 7 years where they had some runs at it, made some Eastern Conference Finals, really built something. It may have been building towards the next 4 years of protecting assets, and before you go all in, this is now kind of the time.
And the cap hit doesn't kick in until the 26-27 season because, again, it's still in the final year of his entry-level deal. So the Canes still have roughly that $11 million of cap space to work with this year if they want to make a move during the season to make a trade for a rental, whatever it might be. And then going into next year, the only guys not under contract for the 26-27 season are Mark Jankowski, Freddie Anderson, and Mike Riley. Essentially, you're maybe 12th, 13th forward, your 7th defenseman, and one of your goalies. Now, Alexander Nikishin is a restricted free agent, but next year you're projected to have over $15 million in cap. Next year, you could still make all the moves that you want to do. Like, it's amazing how the Canes and Eric Tulsky, that whole front office, have set themselves up not only for success now, but can still win in the future, like you just said. They're in a great, great spot.
And multiple first round, like, some of the teams that are set up the way they are, you look at it and you're like, oh, they don't have a first round for the next 4 years. They have prospects, they have draft picks. They're set up nicely, and they've taken care of a lot of guys, which is very Canes of them.
Oh yeah.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have to settle one of our week-long conversations during the Dean's List coming up next. When we were at ACC Kickoff for the last 2 days, who commanded the room? We'll tell you next.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Now that it's hot outside, everybody's spending more time outside. I have noticed that there are people that have gutter issues, whether there's stuff still stuck up there or a gutter hanging off the house. You can help.
Absolutely, Adam. And let me tell you this. If you're looking up and it looks like a garden in your gutters, you need to call the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. We have the gutter helmet, which will keep you from cleaning out the inside of your gutters for as long as you own the home. We can also replace the existing gutters. We can replace any rotten wood. We're a one-stop shop company that can take care of all your home improvement needs, whether it's gutters, windows, siding, doors, roofing. We really can turnkey the whole project and make an easy, comfortable payment through some of our 12-month interest-free financing options. And then you get a lifetime warranty at the end of it all.
12 months interest-free?
You heard that right.
12 months interest-free. AluminumCompany.com.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait one sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Woo! The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are here at Durham Bulls Athletic Park, where the Durham Bulls are warming up, getting a little infield behind us, getting ready for the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
Yep.
Obviously, we're Go Bulls all day, but Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Does that not put a little bit of a smile on your face? Minor league baseball, AAA, by the way, like the closest you can get to the bigs.
Yeah,
and they're playing the Jumbo Shrimp. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's also, how could this not put a smile on your face? It's time for the Dean's List. Class is in session, where we give a little extra praise, a few extra accolades to those that deserve it in the college sports world. Today, for the Dean's List, we're doing it a little differently. Every year, after we go to ACC Kickoff for football or ACC Tip-Off for basketball, we answer a simple question. Who had the most presence? Who commanded the room the most? And this was kind of organically developed because it started, I mean, we might as well call it the Riley Leonard Award because the first year that this show was on air, just about 2 years ago, we went to ACC Media Day, and for whatever reason, I very much noticed the magnetism of Riley Leonard, where he walked in, he was wearing Superman socks or something like that, and everybody just kind of was like, ooh. And maybe I noticed it because it was a Duke football player, which at that point in time didn't really command that kind of presence, but he did for whatever reason. And we noted it, and then it seemed like immediately, the next thing we knew, he was running for a 40-yard touchdown to ice Clemson at home on a Monday night, and the field was being stormed, and it was this whole thing. And then I went, all right, maybe that presence, there's something to it.
The year before that was Kenny Pickett.
Yeah,
Kenny Pickett at Pitt, and then Kenny Pickett at Pitt's playing in the ACC championship game later on that year, and he becomes the first-round pick.
And then this most recent, or not like yesterday, but the most recent year before last year, Cade Klubnik, which was a little unusual for Clemson because he was coming off a year that, people were saying maybe he shouldn't be the returning starter, threw a few more interceptions, wasn't as dynamic as everybody thought he was. And then sure enough, he had 43 total touchdowns and 6 interceptions last year, and he ACC championship game MVP and all of these other things. And it happened in basketball as well. It was Armando Bacot and then DJ Burns for the 2 years we were there. So we've decided we're gonna do that, right? Every year after we go to the ACC Kickoff or Tip-Off, either the last segment from the event or the next day, we're gonna kind of pool our notes and decide. And I have a first, second, and third place.
Okay. Aura, as the kids would say.
Aura.
Yeah.
Are they Aura farming?
Yep.
Number 3 was Justin Jolie from NC State.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Bigger dude than I thought originally. Strong handshake and very, very comfortable, like in his own skin. Did not feel sometimes, and I'm not knocking him for it because I'm sure they've had words twisted and misquoted and everything else. Sometimes when you're talking with college athletes, you almost hear their brain thinking about how you could take this the wrong way, and they almost get ahead of it. They're like, well, we want to win our first game, but we also want to win every game. Yeah, that's a game that means a lot. But all rivals, I mean, I would expect them to say the same thing about us, and it's like they're just protecting themselves. Justin Jolie was just very comfortable, knew what he was saying, knew what speaking from the heart, and defending his quarterback. He talked about how he didn't like the narrative that some media had about CJ Bailey and how he's, CJ's not going to defend himself. That's why he's got his tight end. So it felt very commanding. And then you look at, draft boards and you're like, oh yeah, he's going to be playing professional football, and you kind of see why. That's number 3.
Okay.
Second, almost a repeat winner, Cade Klubnik.
Oh, okay.
There is a world where Clemson pouted, right? And I'm not saying they did, but they were down in the radio area where we were when Bill Belichick's press conference was going on upstairs, and that's where everybody was. Unless you had like an appointment or you were on air, at least you had an interview with a Clemson player or you were on air, everybody was up at Bill Belichick's press conference. And there's a world where, I don't know, you let that rattle you. Clemson's used to walking around and having all the cameras, but Cade moved very similarly to last year, as if he knew something that nobody else did. Mm-hmm. And I was impressed by that. But to me, the winner is the Aura winner coming out of ACC Kickoff was Darian Mensah, the quarterback for Duke.
Yeah. He popped.
This is the vibe he gave off. He gave off NFL quarterback to me. Not like we got to see if he plays like it, right? And this is kind of me saying, like, if Aura translates to strong play, he's going to play well, but we have to wait and see. He just carried himself like an NFL quarterback, and he told the story of, I treated, or I forget how he worded it, but basically he said, I covered the cost for my wide receivers to join me in Tampa for a week of workouts. And that's where my agent is. And, it was good to get away and relax a little and also work hard. And I'm going, this is what NFL quarterbacks do.
That's what Bryce Young just did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And even he took him to where Adam Thielen was, because Adam Thielen probably made a little bit more money than everybody else. So they went out to Minnesota. He carried himself like he was drafted second overall in the NFL draft and was trying to take over a NFL football team. And even when he was sitting next to Manny Diaz, right? Because we interviewed Darian Mensah and Manny Diaz together. A lot of times, if you put a coach and a player next to each other in an interview, it feels like teacher and student. It feels like authority figure, boss and employee. Kind of felt like peers. It kind of felt like, well, you know, there were multiple times Manny Diaz said, well, you can, you know, he's going to have to give you, you know, the real answer here, but I'll tell you what I think. And I'm going like, you're the coach. Usually coaches go, you know, whatever the player thinks, I'm right. But it was fascinating to see a guy that showed up from Tulane a handful of months ago, and to already have that much of a grasp on the situation and be already that comfortable and authoritatively feeling was dramatic to me.
There's a gravitational pull. There was a sense of poise about him. It's like, hey, you know what, the spotlights and stuff are bright. I'm calm under this. Like, that's okay. You never know. Internally, he might be like, oh my goodness. But that's the thing. But he didn't show it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if there's an aspect about a quarterback that you want to have, that's an intangible thing. It's that. So I'll throw another name on the list here as an honorable mention that had kind of that similar type feeling. The guy that we spoke to at the top of the show, TJ Parker, had that like the defensive end from Clemson, who is projected to be a top 5 pick in the upcoming NFL draft. And he definitely had a presence about him, but also an honesty with the questions that we asked, because I love how you pressed him about, hey, you see the clippings about you? And he's like, yeah, I do. And that only
talking mostly mock
more.
drafts that have him in, like, as a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
And he didn't do the thing that most people, I don't look into that stuff. He was like, nah, I see it.
He's like, yeah, I see it. And he didn't shy away from it, which is something that I respect from a young guy as well. So I'll even throw TJ Parker, kind of that same gravitational pull of those other guys that you just mentioned.
And I would add this about TJ Parker. Physically stood out.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing as well. It's like, who physically stands
6'5". I think he's listed at 265. I wouldn't be surprised if it were 270, maybe 272. But his waist was like mine, built like a triangle right up top. So, I mean, you see why NFL evaluators are very excited about him, and that's how you end up, one of the top 5 picks on most draft boards. Now, as I said, we have to wait and see. We've batted pretty good when it comes to batting percentage on. If you command ACC kickoff or tip-off, you go on to have a pretty good season. We'll see. I'm putting Darian Mensah in the driver's seat for that.
Now, we weren't there on Tuesday, but a couple of people I talked to, Jennings, the quarterback from SMU, kind of had that similar type thing. Like, hey, you just played in the ACC championship game. You went and played in the college football playoff as well. Obviously, he had some self-inflicted wounds in those games, but still a really young player. A lot of people are saying, like, yeah, Jennings commanded some attention on Tuesday.
And no surprise, I've heard similar things about Carson Beck at Miami.
Yeah,
he's been a starting quarterback at Georgia for a couple of seasons. You're going to be used to being scrutinized and in the spotlight and everything else. So we weren't there, so we can't speak on it personally, but two good honorable mentions to throw out there. But you have my choices. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Maybe no one had more aura at ACC kickoff than Bill Belichick. And that's simply because everybody followed him around like he was the Pied Piper. Belichick and UNC, the reactions we've heard in the last 24 hours are pretty dramatic. We have a few of them for you as far as audio goes. Coming up next, don't go anywhere.
Hey, it's Tim here for All-Star Dog Training. We all remember the late, great Ripken grabbing bats with the Bulls, the T with State. Well, we have the man behind the dog here, the trainer, Michael from All-Star Dog Training, joining us. Michael, I know you're rebranding a little bit, something to honor Ripken.
Absolutely. We wanted to honor Ripken's legacy, and we thought, what better way to start our rebrand, and came out with All-Star Dog Training.
We all know Ripken, but his full-blooded brother, Champ, has taken over some of his legacy as well?
Absolutely. He debuts this Durham Bulls season.
Another great way to honor the late, great Ripken is to make all of the dogs in the triangle the best trained possible. He was so impressive. What services do you offer for dog owners around here?
We start everyone with the free consultation, and from there we go from puppy classes all the way up to board and trains, private lessons, and day trains. Anything you can think of, we try to do for you.
Now, how can they contact you? Where are you located?
We're located in a 5,000 square foot facility in Apex, but remember, we'll always come to your dog too.
Same all-star team, new all-star name, allstardogtraining.com.
Sports can be unpredictable. Your elevator shouldn't be. That's why you need Metro Elevator, Raleigh's hometown team for expert commercial elevator service. Locally owned and operated, we specialize in keeping your building moving with top-tier repair, maintenance, modernization, and installation. Our highly trained technicians deliver fast, responsive service to ensure your elevators run smoothly. No surprises, just results. Trust Raleigh's own Metro Elevator to keep you moving. Learn more at metro-elevator.com/Raleigh.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Max Gorin back at the studio producing things. That's an apt rejoin for two reasons. One, there's the executive order that was just passed or just put out by President Donald Trump about how college athletes can be paid, and he wants to make sure they are not employees and the pay for play is regulated. And also because Bill Belichick is the head coach at UNC, and he's just a Bill, I suppose. I don't know if he's only a Bill, but he is Bill Belichick, and the hype train has turned a corner. All right, and I'm going to use a term that was actually first hoisted upon us by Darren Vaught of the ACC Baseball podcast. Parachute fans,
yeah,
right? Because he was talking about baseball season. When you get to the postseason in college, all of a sudden you have all these parachute fans that come in, and they don't actually know anything about the teams, but when it gets exciting, they jump in. We're starting to see a lot of parachute opinions on UNC football.
Sure.
In that they haven't been tracking the roster building since Bill Belichick showed up. They haven't been tracking the transfer portal. They haven't been tracking who stays. They haven't been tracking what else has happened in the ACC. But now that football season is on our doorstep, and Bill Belichick was talking to the media at ACC Kickoff yesterday and everything else, now they want to parachute in and just go, this is great. Bill Belichick's going to have them winning. He's going to have them doing this. He's going to have them doing that. And I'm going, well, maybe, but if you don't see all of these other things that may be working against them, or all of these other things that may take some time to impact, then you're being really loud and aggressive for no reason. Evan Cohen hosts Unsportsmanlike every morning right here on 99.9 The Fan and ESPN affiliates all over the country. He is one of those that fully believes UNC will be great with Bill Belichick, and he said so this morning.
This is a message to all of those people at UNC football. You got all these people out there that are detractors. Not me. I believe in Coach Belichick 1,000%. He's going to get the most out of the 18 to 22 and 23-year-olds that he's going to coach and work with, and then give him 1 year. Maybe it's not going to be perfect this year, but what's going to happen is there's going to be parents and high school coaches that are influential over current college players and current high school players that are going to say, you know what, go play for him. Look at all the guys he had drafted. UNC football is on the rise. People could talk about all the off-field stuff they want. Watch this man on Saturdays.
That's pretty emphatic.
Okay. Pound the table there, Evan Cohen. All right.
Here's the thing with me. What about what Bill Belichick has done so far has made you think parents will go, that's where I want my kids to go? I've seen him be pretty gruff with his players. I've seen him be.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen him maybe detract from some of his players when they go elsewhere. I've seen him feud with his boss. Again, I think he's a good coach, maybe the greatest of all time, right? I think there's a lot of things football-wise that he should be able to get the most out of. But if there's one thing we've learned from since he's taken over is it was not as easy to recruit as many of us thought it would be for Bill Belichick. The day he was hired, I may have sounded like Evan Cohen. Going, if I'm a recruiter, if I'm a recruit's parents, I'm going to Bill Belichick. He's going to turn you into a pro. But I've seen an entire offseason of guys kind of, have UNC in their Final Five and choose to go elsewhere. I've seen an entire offseason of some transfers, but not all transfers, and maybe some under-the-radar transfers choosing Bill Belichick. I don't know if the obvious things are coming to fruition in the way we thought. Now, I'll also say this. The fame and the buzz have been over the top compared to what I was expecting. I was expecting more of the football to immediately skew his way and the buzz to kind of wear off, right? I was expecting it to be a big splash and still a big deal like, once game day came around. I was not expecting Dabo Swinney to be walking around and not have nearly the media contingent following him that he usually does at ACC Kickoff because Bill Belichick just happened to rumored to be upstairs. Like it was that kind of deal where, Bill Belichick's upstairs and everybody whispered about it and took off. I was not expecting that to still be the case. We talked with Gio Lopez, the quarterback incoming transfer from South Alabama for UNC. And I said, does it wear off? I was like, at any point in time, do you just look at him as Coach Belichick? Sorry.
I think someone just hit the bull.
There was we are under the bull at Durham Bulls Athletic Park.
Yeah, someone just hit the bull.
I just heard a ball rap against something behind us. Gio, I asked him if, do you ever look at him and not think like that's a 6-time Super Bowl winning coach? And he goes, it does for a minute. And then, you don't see him for a couple days. And when he shows back up, you're like, oh yeah, that's the guy.
That's the guy.
He's still him. And that will benefit your program. But I think for this year, that impact is all already done, right? That impacts fundraising. That impacts recruiting. There's 0% chance when you get on the field against another ACC team or when you get on the field against TCU to open the season, they're going to go, well, we can't beat them too bad because they got Bill Belichick on the sideline, and I respect the heck out of what he did in 2002, like in that upset win or whatever it is. Like, it took down the greatest show on turf, so let's spot him 14. Like, that's not how it works. I'm very cautious compared to some of the over-the-top emphasis on UNC.
And if we take a look at what this UNC team has, if you factor in freshmen coming in and transfers, it's like 70-plus new guys.
Over 70, correct.
It's a lot of new faces on this team. How quickly can Bill Belichick get these guys on the same page without having preseason games, no joint practices, none of those kinds of things? It's you practice a bunch, then Labor Day, Monday, you're taking on TCU at home at Keenan, with a mini college game day taking place beforehand and a national spotlight on you. How well is your team going to respond? You really don't know fully what your team can do in game situations until you actually play in those games. Bill Belichick doesn't even know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know exactly what UNC football is going to look like this year. We don't know what their system's going to look like. We don't know what Gio Lopez is going to look like in said system. That system might change at halftime before we all know.
Maybe my favorite anecdote from ACC Kickoff came from Gio Lopez, because I asked both Will Hardy, who's a safety for UNC, and Gio Lopez, who's quarterback, what film are you watching? Because I think that could impact or give us some insight into what style of play they're going to run, right? If you're watching a lot of Washington last year, because that's where Steve Belichick was the defensive coordinator, then we could go watch Washington and say this is what they're trying to do. Both of them said a ton of Patriots film.
Okay.
So if there's some insight there, you'd expect they're going to be running the same systems and everything that they ran in with the New England Patriots. But Gio Lopez, as soon as you say you're watching Patriots film to learn an offense, my first thought was that's got to be daunting, right? You put Tom Brady on the screen and say, do it like that, kid. And he went, well, no, actually, Bill Belichick is kind of critical of Tom Brady when we're watching film. He'll say, I don't like the way Tom did this. Or don't do it like that. What he should have done is this. Watching Tom Brady, which is hilarious, but also very Bill Belichick. And then Gio said, and I want to point this out. He's like, I don't think I'm going out of line here by saying I'm a better runner than Tom. And he is, right? Especially by the level, right? Like he's a better runner in college, and Tom was in the NFL by leaps and bounds. And that's something that's going to change. I have full faith and confidence. I might even sound like Evan Cohen and being that over the top confident in UNC if we're talking about just the defense. Because Will Hardy, he's the one, by the way, that corrected me, because I said you had 40-plus transfers, all these new guys, and he was like, actually, it's over 70 if you include the freshmen. But it did seem like the defense with Belichick leading the way, Bill Belichick, that is, and Steve Belichick and Brian Belichick, it seemed like they had a firmer grasp. The offense, I mean, Freddie Kitchens is leading the way, and that's not Bill Belichick's, that's not his calling card, right? That's not his thing. It was Josh McDaniels, or it was Bill O'Brien, or it was Charlie Weiss. Through it, like he's had some really good offensive coordinators. Back to Josh McDaniels, then Belichick left, and they're back to Josh McDaniels again.
Yeah.
There's different. The offense, to me, I think there's going to be growing pains there. There's no guarantee they're going to be over this year, next year, the year after. There were years where, every year without Tom Brady, Bill Belichick's offense is underwhelmed. And that includes when you had guys like Cam Newton, and it's not like he was playing with scrubs out there, sans Tom Brady. Quickly, we have Matt Baker of The Athletic. He was asked, what is a successful season for UNC and Belichick? And this was his answer.
8-4 is probably enough to make all of this worth it. Obviously there's been all the Jordan Hudson talk and everything that's happened this offseason. It's been very, very weird. Talk about, the financial investment, right? With paying him as much as they're paying him, upping the ante in terms of everything else, trying to elevate Carolina football with, it's been a basketball school for such a long time, trying to make it a football brand. I think to make it worthwhile, to make it seem like a success, 8-4 would be the floor. I think 9-3 would be a definite success. 8-4 is kind of on the border. And under that, then you're in the Mac Brown territory. And what did we really do here? Because the other part of this that we have to kind of factor in is the long-term play here, where I don't think anybody expects Bill Belichick to be coaching at North Carolina for 10 years. So if it's a short-term deal, whatever short-term means, the returns, the dividends have to be paying off very, very quickly for it to work out.
8 wins, I think realistic people would be okay with. I'm not sure those parachute fans would be. I think they're expecting Bill Belichick to show up, sprinkle some Patriots way pixie dust on the roster, and be in the CFP.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's fair, but I think that's out there.
I mean, 8-4 is an improvement. 6-6 last year.
But you don't
an improvement.
You don't hire Bill Belichick for a step better.
True.
You don't spend $50 million on your football program for, hey, it's better than last year.
It's not a step better, but it's that first step, though, to getting where you want to be.
I'd also argue this. If I were hiring a coach as high profile as Bill Belichick, and the expectation was 3 or 4 years of coaching, I'd be hiring him as much to transform the program for the next guy as I would hiring for the wins he's going to have there. Like, if you're only hiring for 3 years and you expect the program to spike when they're there and then maybe go down for the next person, like they're the secret sauce, it's too difficult. It's too high risk. If it doesn't work out, it's a disaster. What I'd more hope Bill Belichick does is put this pro structure that he talks about in place, and then the next person gets to walk into a ready-made, cranking, winning, foundational kind of machine that's already in process. So, I don't think the impact of Bill Belichick is going to be just while Bill Belichick is at UNC. I think the drive to winning might take a little bit longer than people are hoping for. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are live outside, or kind of inside, Durham Bulls Athletic Park. We are just behind the Bull in left field as some batting practice goes on. There's a shot to left center, so we're safe on that one at least.
Yeah.
By the way, the weather, it only feels like 105 now. When we started the show, it felt like 107.
Oh, it's cooling down.
So I'm my sweating bullets will continue until the end of the show. That's all I'll say. We have football at 4 coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, it's Paul Eihander from 99.9 The Fan for Clayton Homes. The Sign and Save sales event is happening now at Clayton Homes and Oakwood Homes, but only through August 31st. You can save up to $5,000 instantly on your new home. That's $2,500 off a single section or $5,000 off a multi-section home. Discover the comfort, the style, and the value of a Clayton-built home, crafted with North Carolina in mind. From modern floor plans to energy-saving upgrades and premium finishes, there's a home fitting your lifestyle and, of course, your budget. And with summer heating up, it's the perfect time to enjoy energy-smart features for year-round comfort and savings. Stop by, tour our fully furnished models, or visit manufacturedhomeoffers.com and browse limited-time deals. But don't wait. The Sign and Save sales event ends August 31st. Terms and conditions for the Sign and Save sales event at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. Available only at participating retailers through 8/31. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
At Progressive, we understand the bond you have with your boat. It's why people name theirs.
I named my boat Sure Don't. Get it? The other day when my friend said, "Hey Larry, you want to head back in? It looks like it might rain." I said, "Sure don't." I guess they didn't get it because they didn't laugh.
Whatever you call your boat, protected by insuring it with Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious.
Mountain Dew!
Do the do.
Hurry into Family Fare and get 2 20-ounce bottles of ice-cold Mountain Dew for just $4.29. Family Fare, first in thirst.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. This afternoon, highs will reach into the mid to upper 90s. Only a small chance for a brief shower or storm. Heat advisories in place for heat index values as high as 106 degrees. Extreme heat watch is in place for the weekend for more intense heat across the area.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 202 points to 44,896.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is football at 4, one of my favorite times of day. You can set your watch by it. We talk pigskin at 4 o'clock. And today is an unusual day for the Carolina Panthers in that it is training camp, but it's kind of their first off the practice field day of training camp. They had 2 days on the field. That's Wednesday and Thursday where they practiced. No shoulder pads, anything like that, but they were out there running around. Today was a walkthrough day. And certain players spoke to the media, which gives us a little insight into what they're thinking and first impressions from players about their teammates and how the team is looking going into this year. And with that, you get to hear – I love talking with Adam Thielen or hearing from Adam Thielen because he's a guy that's seen it all. And I actually think that's part of his role with this team, and it's part of the reason why they brought in guys like Hunter Renfrow is – you know, they're the ones that have been through the battles. They're the ones that can suggest things, and they're the ones that can give us honest reports on how some of the young guys are progressing, or how some of the young guys have shown up to camp. With the idea that Thielen has been there when Stephon Diggs showed up for the Minnesota Vikings, Justin Jefferson showed up for the Minnesota Vikings. He's been around quite a bit, quite a few young guys. And one of them is Shaw Smith-Wade, who we actually talked to his college coach, Jake Dickert, 2 days ago. He's now the head coach at Wake Forest, but at the time he was coaching Washington State. And he was super high on Shaw Smith-Wade. So let's hear if Adam Thielen is as high as his old college coach. Here's Adam Thielen on the young slot corner.
It's confidence and physicality. Like, he just brings a demeanor, a physicality, and a confidence that, is tough to go against. Those are the guys that are tough. Like, when I think about some of the toughest corners that I played in my career, even just being on the outside, they were the guys that were just confident. Like you could see it in their eyes, you could see it in the way that they played the game, that they are just confident in their abilities. And when they're that confident, they have the ability to be patient and kind of let the game come to them. So that's what I'm seeing out of him, is just confidence and physicality.
It's interesting. I'm now going to marry kind of the two comments. One from Adam Thielen, all about confidence of Shaw Smith-Wade, and going back to our conversation with Jake Dickert, his coach at Washington State, about Shaw Smith-Wade. Jake Dickert pointed out that there was a point about halfway through Shaw Smith-Wade's college career when it clicked, right? The first 2 years, maybe wasn't as mature as he should have been. I think Jake Dickert put it, the way he put it was, he did everything wrong the first 2 years on campus. And then something clicked, and he started, pursuing his dreams a little bit more aggressively, doing more of the right things. And from that point on, he was a different player. He was a different person. The fact that Adam Thielen notices the confidence in the defensive back, which hopefully no one can hear that alarm going off over our
It's in the
shoulders.
building across the street. We're fine.
We're outside. We're good.
Yeah.
But like a defensive back is inherently, and I say this with love for all my defensive backs out there, it is inherently a cocky position.
Oh, yes.
It is an arrogant-filled position.
Oh, yes.
And it has to be, right? You have to get burnt, or if you get burnt for a touchdown, you have to have absolute amnesia and show up the next play thinking you're a lockdown corner. You're Darrelle Revis in 2007. Like, you just have to be that every single time. So for him to notice confidence tells me Shaw Smith-Wade is carrying himself, making all the right decisions, doing all the right things, which is what Jake Dickert said in the second half of his college career he was as well. And you hope that is unwaverable, unflappable confidence, simply because of what I just said. There's going to be a lot of opportunity for Shaw Smith-Wade. Based on the way their defensive back depth chart looks right now, there could be a ridiculously long leash for Shaw Smith-Wade, in that if he has a couple mistakes, couple bad games, I don't know if they have a lot of other places to turn. So that confidence is still going to have to be there regardless of what happens, which is important.
There's not a whole lot after him.
That's my point.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot after him.
It's,
thrown in the deep end, man. Sink or swim.
it's when you're down to the last guy in the bullpen. It's like, dude, it's you or we're putting a second baseman out there. So we're going to make sure you got nothing in the tank before we throw somebody else in there.
Let's get us through.
Adam Thielen was also asked about Jimmy Horn Jr. This not even a returning player. This a rookie 6th-round pick out of Colorado, a wide receiver / kick returner, punt returner. Here's Thielen on Jimmy Horn Jr.
I just like his mindset from the day that he got here, even through these training camp practices, just his ability to want to learn, his ability to just want to be the very best player and teammate he can be. That's really what sticks out for me. I mean, obviously everybody knows what he can do athletically with the ball in his hands. So, he's a rookie and he's a guy who has a great potential and future in this league. But I just love that his mindset's there from day one. That's not always the case. And usually when you look at guys that play a long time in this league, it's guys that want to be great, that want to do the little things, that want to ask questions, that are not like too good or too cool to kind of learn. So definitely impressed with his mindset.
I'm going to quote one of my favorite movies here, Draft Day, starring Kevin Costner.
Oh, yes.
He brings up Kevin Costner in the movie. He's a GM of the Cleveland Browns, and they're talking about drafting a quarterback. And his point is everybody has a flaw. The great ones, for whatever reason, it just doesn't matter. And he goes, Peyton Manning's arm wasn't strong enough, but it just didn't matter. John Elway, they thought, actually threw it too hard. He had no touch.
Yeah.
But it just didn't matter. His plea to the scouts ahead of the draft is find out what's wrong with him and find out if it matters or not. Jimmy Horn Jr., very obvious what the quote-unquote flaw in his prospect profile is.
Flaw.
He's 5'9", 170 pounds.
Yeah.
It's right there. What the Panthers have to do now is figure out if it matters, right? Figure out what he can and can't do. When does it matter and when does it not? I'll give you a little anecdote about Jimmy Horn Jr. As Dennis knows, and I say all the time, I am as big of a draft nerd as there is. I like to test. I like to test myself against how the actual draft plays out. Like, if I find a guy who like all the analysts are giving a 5th-round grade, and I'm like, I don't know, I think he's better, and then he gets drafted in the 3rd, I think I'm a genius. I'm like, me and the Los Angeles Chargers, same page. Everybody else was off. So I was watching actually for Shedeur Sanders. I was watching Colorado tape, trying to figure out, is this Shedeur Sanders guy good or not? And one of the things I wrote down multiple times was, goodness gracious, this guy throws up 50-50 balls, and his wide receivers make him look good. And then a couple bullet points later, I put an arrow to it, what I'd said right there, and I wrote, and it's not just Travis Hunter. These other guys do it too. And I didn't know who these other guys were at the time. All I knew was if there was a one-on-one anywhere on the field, Shedeur Sanders had the confidence in his guys to just put one up, and this guy, Shedeur Sanders, led the country in completion percentage.
Yeah.
And he was throwing 50-50 balls up, jump balls up left and right. And it was Travis Hunter. Don't get me wrong. That dude is a stud. Like, absolutely. But also LeJontay Wester and Jimmy Horn Jr. were all coming down with difficult catches left and right and using their speed to get open and taking short catches the distance. So what I came away with was, I don't think Shedeur Sanders is all that everyone's making him out to be. I think his receivers made him look way better because they had a couple of dudes. And then, of course, later on, I came up on the Jimmy Horn prospect profile, and I went, oh, man, he's 5'9", 165 pounds. I was like, I would have really liked this guy if he were 6 foot, 195, right? Which is so almost dumb of my thinking, but I didn't put him high on. I'll tell you right now, I had him about a 6th or 7th round pick, which is what he ended up going.
Yeah.
But does it matter? It does at points, right? I think if you put him on the outside, or if you put him in a slot where he's on the line or whatever it is, if I'm a slot corner, I'm getting my hands on him and I'm not letting him go, right? Because he's 170 pounds and I'm going to be bigger and stronger than he is. But if you can find situations where that doesn't matter, get him in motion. Dennis and I were talking about this before the show. Get him off the ball and use screens or rubs and crossing routes and everything else to get him free. There might be something there that, turns a 6th round pick into a, 2nd round value. And the nice part is, if it doesn't work out, if everything Adam Thielen just said is true, if he's a guy that wants to learn, if he's a grinder, if he's willing to do whatever it takes, at the worst, you have a depth player at wide receiver and a really good returner, because you can't get your hands on him before he gets the ball when you're, standing 40 yards, 50 yards away at the snap. So it's an interesting player. He's getting a lot of hype through the first 2 days on the field for the Carolina Panthers, and I'm intrigued to see where it goes.
See, I'm intrigued to see how Canales uses him. Which, by the way, seeing Jimmy Horn Jr. in person, that speed pops.
Mm-hmm.
It really does pop.
Yeah, I mean, on film it pops. It's just small.
Yeah.
He's small. That's really it. Like I said, you find the flaw, you find out if it matters. Sometimes you have to look real hard to find the flaw. With him, he does a lot of stuff that I like, but he's 170 pounds. Last one here, and this is going back to what I said about Adam Thielen having seen a lot in this league. It's not just the young players.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the young coaches. Dave Canales has only been a head coach now for a little over a year. And Adam Thielen was asked where he sees Canales as far as growth as a head coach going into year 2. Dennis asked this question, and here's the answer from Thielen.
I think just confidence in his approach. I think as a new head coach, and I'm kind of speaking for him here, but as a new head coach, I think there's a little bit of like, I think this is what I want to do. This is my plan, and I'm going to trust it. But I think him coming to year 2, you can see him just like, all right, like I know what I'm doing. I know what works. And I'm all in. And I think when you feel that as a player, you kind of feel the same way. Like you feel the confidence coming off of him, of the schedule, of the philosophy, of what he wants out of players, and what is it going to take for you as a player to extend your career here, like what he's exactly looking for. You have a lot of confidence in knowing that I can just go and be myself and do exactly what they want. And so, again, it really comes down to just confidence in the approach, and we all feel that.
I would take it one step further and say the veterans notice that probably more than anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you were a rookie last year, you don't know any different, right? Whatever Dave Canales is telling you, in your mind, that's the way the NFL is done. Adam Thielen's like, well, that's not how Zimmer did it. Well, that's not how this guy did it. Well, that's not how Frank Reich did it. That's not how Like he has so many other ways. So if Canales isn't all the way bought in, he's sensing it and going, I don't know. My best teams in Minnesota did it differently. But now he's seeing the confidence, and it's like, all right, this guy, he's convicted. He knows what he's doing. I'm going to buy in. I think it's more for veterans than the young guys.
Honestly, thinking about that when I was listening to Thielen answer that question earlier this afternoon, I thought to myself, we talk about players making a big jump from last year to this year. I mean, in terms of Panthers as a whole, Canales himself might be the guy that takes the biggest jump, like in all seriousness. Like, how do you handle certain play calls in certain situations? How are you managing people at practice and your personnel and just all these different kinds of things? Like having been a former coach myself, there's so much that I realized I didn't know my first year being a head coach until I actually did it. I was like, I thought I knew, and I knew probably about 10%. And then going into year 2, and then the third year became head coach, I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing now.
Do you know I'm actually bringing that up? Do you know I'm jealous about coaches?
What's up?
Is as a player, as an athlete, by the time you feel like you have the mental side figured out, the physical side is in decline.
Yeah.
And coaches they have a much longer time to just keep getting better with the mental side. Because it doesn't matter, if they run a 4.6 or a 4.8.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of times, like I'm sure Adam Thielen would tell you, Adam Thielen was a 4.4 something guy early in his career.
Played on the outside.
And 1,000-yard receiver, all this stuff, and made Pro Bowls and caught a bunch of touchdowns, made a bunch of money. At this point in time, I think if you line him up for a 40, it's high 4.5s, right? So, but he knows so much more that he can still get by and he can still get open, and he would love to, I'm sure, have his knowledge now and still have that like 4.43 speed, right? If you put those together, it would be gangbusters. A coach kind of gets that over time, where it's like, oh no, I'm just getting better. I'm not fighting all father time. And I've said this a few times about Dave Canales last year. I think the early struggles, I don't know if they completely are eradicated, but I don't think he play called Bryce Young into a reset. Right. I think once things got spiraling, he was still calling like the best play he thinks to beat the defense. And sometimes you need to get the guy a completion, right? Sometimes you need to, give him a breather play. Peyton Manning calls them breather plays. Sometimes you just got to call it and run it, meaning no alerts, no audibles, just call and run handoff. So the quarterback can turn his brain off for 35 seconds and go, here you go. For Peyton Manning, it would have been Edgerrin James, pick me up 4 yards just so I can reset. I don't think there was enough of that for Bryce Young, and I think that's a learning deal for Canales, because when Bryce Young came back for the second run, I think there was more of those. There was more, let's get a speed sweep here so he can just kind of a jet sweep so he can relax, or let's get him a hitch completion. So I think that could, if things turn sideways in the first couple games, I think Dave Canales will be better at handling it. Not to at all take the responsibility off of Bryce. He has to be better. But I thought the coach could have helped him out a little bit more last year. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. News yesterday from inside Carolina hinted that the University of North Carolina athletics program could be exploring a move to the SEC. Would they join the enemy? Stick around. It's next.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I know the hurricane season came to an end. Another year with a loss to Florida in the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 of the last 3. But it's been a great year, and it's going to be a great summer with all that cap room the Hurricanes have. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, from free agency to trades to the draft. We'll have player interviews, special sit-down with Rod Brindamore that he doesn't even know about yet. He'll do it, don't worry. Just stay tuned to the Canes Corner podcast on YouTube. Search Canes Corner and wherever you get your podcast.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit TrimFireRadio.com.
Is going to your local bar the worst part of your day? The bartender ignores you, mediocre food, warm beer? Then why go there? Take 5 minutes and drop in at Sharky's, where they'll give you a free evaluation, and you can learn about all the bars that you shouldn't go to. Sharky's has helped thousands find the right bar to hang at. What are you waiting for? Sharky's evaluation could be the cure to the worst part of your day. Change your bar, change your life. Sharky's, 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
Will you make the right call? Time's running out, pressure's on, and you need your roof replaced. Hi, I'm Holly from RoofWorks. It's 4th and goal, and the decision's in your hands. The competition can't stop you. You're about to score the game winner. We've trained for years for this moment to raise the roof for you. So avoid the noise and put us in the game. Call RoofWorks today or visit us online at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan, live at Durham Bulls Athletic Park. I'm going to say this, and Dennis, I'm not even being like funny when I say this.
That it's hot?
It's dropped 2 degrees in the feels like category.
Okay.
And it's actually significant.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Like, it's still ridiculously hot.
down.
I'm still sweating a bunch. Let's not get it twisted. If you're on YouTube, you can probably notice that. But when we started the show, it felt like 107 according to the weather. Now it feels like 105. And I noticed it, which it sounds a little bit crazy, but I guess it's all relative.
By the way, shout out to our man David Bodlin, our engineer, who helped set everything up. Actually, did all the setup and everything we have over here.
And keeps resetting up a fan behind
I know.
us.
There's a big box fan that we have. Like, there is a little bit of a breeze, but it's helping tremendously. Shout out Dave Bodlin for foresight on that.
And if you are going to make your way out here when the Durham Bulls take on the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp later tonight, 6:35 opening pitch scheduled, have yourself some cold drinks. Bring them with you down to the seats, right? Water, and if you're into something else, there's
smart.
Well, a little bit of both. A little bit of both. Mix in a water, but enjoy yourself responsibly. Some news yesterday came from inside Carolina that the SEC is where the Tar Heels are aiming under the leadership of Roberts and Newmark, that being the chancellor and the expected next athletic director following Bubba Cunningham's departure or movement to another role. Should UNC leave the ACC for another league, perhaps in the near future? And then obviously they talked about exit fees and everything that we learned in the lawsuit with Clemson and Florida State in the ACC. Now, I understand that's going to, just having that report out there is going to start some waves. There's 2 things I want to point out. One, UNC is exceptionally desirable by conferences. I talk about this a lot with like Mike Tomlin, your Pittsburgh Steelers coach, Dennis, where when people talk about the Steelers moving on from Mike Tomlin, I say there are other teams out there that would fire their head coach for the opportunity to interview Mike Tomlin. Like, they might be happy where they are. They might be happy with their setup now. But if somebody that desirable becomes available, they'll change their plans. That is North Carolina, in that the SEC may say publicly a whole bunch of times, no, we're happy with the teams we have. We're not looking to expand. Oh, if Memphis wants to offer us $250 million, we'll say no. We're not interested in this team. We're not interested in that team. If UNC became available, suddenly they'd be like, well, let's reevaluate everything we just said, because national brand, exceptional academic reputation, the Jordan partnership, big state school, obviously a state that has been so dominated by the ACC. They'd love to get that foothold. Natural rivalries. There's a lot there.
Don't discount the fact that the money that you make from basketball in the NCAA tournament, that's a big thing too. That's how the conferences also make money outside of media rights. And
the way I know this about UNC is how often other teams' fans want to group themselves with the Tar Heels.
Sure.
I think I've used this example in the past, but there was one summer in college where me and a bunch of my buddies that were on the football team played a lot of golf. So we did a lot of like 4-on-4 scrambles because we weren't actually that good. But if like 4 people played one ball, we could play a different decent score. And there was one guy that's like a stick. He's a really good player. And there were so many bets made where, let's call him Joe, because I know I'm always weird telling personal stories like that. Sure. But it was always like me, Joe, and any 2 of y'all versus these people. And it was always like, you always wanted Joe on your team to talk trash, right? Me, Joe, so-and-so and so-and-so will take on you and any 3 of your friends. And it's like, you're just comfortable because you're talking Joe. You're not confident in yourself at all. And it just became like you were trying to associate your golf game with his. I've friends and family that are fans of Virginia Tech, State, fans of all over. I used to work in markets covering Syracuse, Virginia Tech. We covered like a whole bunch of these teams. And whenever they would talk, they'd be like, all right, if the ACC struggles, it'll be us, it'll be Clemson, and it'll be UNC, and we'll go to the SEC. And I'm always like, well, you're a lot more attractive if you bring Clemson and UNC with you.
Well, of course.
Like everybody wanted the clout of North Carolina to go along with them. And that right there tells me how attractive they are. So they're going to have options, right? And if you have options and you're not evaluating those options, you're foolish, right? All right, the SEC wants us. Is it worth it? We could go there. We'd be a less big fish in a bigger pond, or we could stay in the ACC and have this and be a bigger chip stack at the table and have a brand that we've been in since who knows how long ago when the ACC got started, and we'd have these natural rivalries. And like, you have to evaluate everything. So if they're exploring the SEC, if they're thinking about it, talking about it, of course they should. And they should talk about the Big Ten, and they should talk about the Big 12, and they should talk about a Super League, and they should talk about every other option because they have those options.
One thing we got to keep in mind as well, we can review this here real fast. The settlement between the Atlantic Coast Conference and with Florida State and Clemson on those lawsuits has changed the math in terms of how much it costs to, if you want to leave the conference, in terms of buyouts and stuff. And when you approach around 2030, that number drops to $75 million as opposed to $91 million the year before, and so on.
It goes from 93 to 75 as it jumps from the 2029, 2030 school year to the 2030, 2031 school year.
But if you try and do it this year or next year, it's
almost
extremely
200
high.
million.
Exactly. So exploring is, hey, SEC going down to Greg Sankey, their commissioner. Hey, Greg, let's say in 2030. Where you guys are looking to expand. You guys want to expand your footprint, build a stronger brand. What if we were able to bring X amount of dollars with us in terms of our revenue, our TV market, our brand? What would that look like for your conference? That's an exploration, right? Doesn't mean it's going to happen.
And that's even if conferences, major conference football is a thing in 2030, 2031, because Super Leagues are hanging over the league.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to bring up is Bubba Cunningham, who is the athletic director currently of UNC. There's already a succession plan to Newmark, as we mentioned, but he is still currently the guy running the show. Made waves when Florida State was making waves. So Florida State was talking a big game about they wanted to get out. What was it? Drew Weatherford, a member of their board, was saying it's not if, but when we get out of the ACC. And Bubba Cunningham's, his take was essentially, we've negotiated an exit fee. You guys have signed the grant of rights. If you want out, pay the money, right? Do what the contract says you'd have to do to leave. If not, quit barking. And barking was literally one of the words Bubba Cunningham said. And that raised a bunch of eyebrows, and it made, some waves. But if that's what you believe, right? If what UNC believes is, the allegiance you have to the ACC goes as far as the exact wording of the contracts you've signed, and the exit fee comes down, that means they would be cool to just pay the exit fee and leave and not feel as if they did anything wrong. Matter of fact, they would look at it and say, we fulfilled our obligation because that's what we all agreed to, and the exit fee was negotiated. So, yeah, there is a possibility UNC bounces. I don't think it's happening anytime soon. I think 2030, 2031 is probably the earliest, and to pretend you know what college sports is going to look like in 2030, 2031 is insane, because we don't. Things can change so rapidly. Let's go back 5 years. Think about how different the transfer portal, NIL, is now compared to 5 years ago. It's a completely different beast. Revenue share wasn't even a thought. Teams are going to be able to pay their players $20.5 million this year. 5 years ago, that wouldn't even have been a passing notion. So 5 years from now, acting like you're afraid of what's going to happen then is it's a fool's errand, because we just don't know what the format is going to be.
And there's also other factors other than just what North Carolina wants to do. Let's not forget the laws that have been put in place by our state legislator regarding any state school that wants to move conferences. It's not the school's decision. It actually comes down to the chancellor of the UNC board. I'm talking about the statewide
the UNC system.
University of North Carolina system. That's who actually has to approve this. So UNC might look to go to name your conference, SEC, Big Ten, whatever. It still actually comes down to the UNC board itself. I'm talking the statewide that oversees App State, ECU, NC State, UNC, Charlotte, Pembroke, Fayetteville State. All that has to factor into it too. And Tim, let's not forget, there are state legislators that are trying to ensure that UNC and NC State play each other X amount of times a year. And there also is a potential push for, hey, if UNC goes somewhere, you got to bring NC State with you, or vice versa. They want to make sure that the two biggest schools in our state and Carolina, are together at least equal in terms of number of dollars that are brought in.
And to put that another way, is neither gets left behind.
Exactly. That's the thing.
If UNC is invited in the Cool Kids Club, or vice versa with State being invited in the Cool Kids Club, and that's what I call it when, like, Florida State and Clemson try to grab their other cool buddies and go to another conference. If one is invited and the other isn't, that would be a huge detriment to the one left behind.
Absolutely.
They could end up in the Washington State, Oregon State category of, like, what happened here. So yeah, there's a lot to think of, but it's kind of your job to explore all the options every year. So I think the wording of it by Inside Carolina invoked a bit more panic and hysteria than maybe actually was there. But I'm not to say that any of it was incorrect. Like, I'm sure, exploring, looking around, establishing if we leave, we'd like to go here. I think those conversations happen in most schools across the country.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't always get leaked. I played at the University of Delaware. They're in the Conference USA right now. I don't pretend that Conference USA has the sturdiest foundation. Teams are going in and out of that conference every year. I hope our athletic director and our president have had conversations on, if Conference USA disintegrates, where's our first call? Where would we like to go? How much money could we put together as an offering to join the Sun Belt or the MAC or whatever they think is the next spot? And Delaware is significantly less desirable in that than UNC, who would have a ton of options. A little self-aware there. That hurt to say, but hey, got to be real with yourself every now and then. It is what it is. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of the Tar Heels, Dennis and I spent the last 2 days at ACC Kickoff, which is where the football season kind of starts for the ACC. Media interviews, players, coaches, all over the place. So I thought it would be a good time, coming out of ACC Kickoff, where we learned a lot of insight into the teams, to do a little ACC football triangle teams cons and cons. So let's fire that up. Max. That's right. Cons and Cons, a game we play where we put different teams through the ringer a little bit here. We ask, what are we most confident about and what are we most concerned about when it comes to each team? Now we have, in no particular order, UNC, Duke, and State. Dennis, you choose. Which do we lead off with?
Well, we're in Durham. Let's go Duke.
Duke. And as always, I got good news and bad news. Which do you want first? I want the bad news. I'll start with the concern.
Okay.
My concern, I don't know. I was actually driving home last night, and I listened back to some of the interviews that we did, trying to watch the film and get better. I'm a little upset I didn't ask anyone at Duke about replacing Star Thomas, their running back.
Yeah.
I like Jaquez Moore, a guy that's coming back off an injury, as a big play change of pace back. I'm not sure he's ready to, be what Star Thomas was last year, which was, if you need to give him 25 carries, if you need to give him a bunch of touches, he can be your workhorse. I think Duke's defense is set to be very good. I think, led by Brian Parker, their offensive line can be pretty good. And I like Darian Mensah, but I do think that passing game may need a little bit of time to gel. So who's going to be kind of their thunder running back is a concern of mine looking at their roster. Dennis, do you have a concern?
That's my concern as well. We actually saw early on in the season last year for Duke, before Star Thomas really took over that feature running back role, is their running game struggled. It was mostly a lot of Malik Murphy as the quarterback just slinging the ball around. So that was a major concern of mine going in. Like you mentioned, the loss of Star Thomas, and also just you lose also a couple of just other skill guys as well. You have a new quarterback coming in. To me, where does the offense pick up? Like, where does it start? So that's my big concern. I'm with you in terms of just you're losing some of those key skill guys, and you have a fresh new quarterback coming in. But, you and I had the pleasure of, or you did, I should say, talking with Darian Mensah, and the way he carries himself, like there's a level of charisma and confidence to him, certainly a presence about him, a gravitational pull, however you want to describe it. And he obviously put up great numbers last year at Tulane. New system. You don't have that running game to lean on, or at least we don't know yet. That's why it's a concern. So I'm 100% with you. We're right there on the same page. We did not discuss this before the show.
No, we did not. And Thomas is at Tennessee now. So Tennessee's got a little bit of an NIL budget. He cashed in is basically what I'm saying.
Nothing wrong with that.
Confidence with Duke. I'm calling it the studs.
Okay.
I can't remember a time where Duke had this many guys at different positions amongst like the best in the country at their position. And what I mean by like Duke has had some depth. They've had some good teams in my lifetime. The early Cutcliffe teams, the Elko teams. But if you look at Darian Mensah, who I think is amongst the best quarterbacks in the country, you look at Brian Parker, who is being named, anywhere between a second or third team All-American at offensive tackle in the preseason, which means he's one of the six best tackles in the country. You look at Chandler Rivers, who's, again, probably same thing, second or third team All-American most places. Means he's one of the 6 best corners in the country. Like, Duke is, I don't even want to say top-heavy because that's disrespecting their depth, but their top is the heaviest it's been since I've really been following Duke.
Yeah, their top end is legit. Not like, oh, yeah, they're really, really good on other teams. No. Like, their top end guys would be top end guys at pretty much any other school. I'm 100% there with you. To me, it's something that Manny Diaz has always had a really good defense. And no matter where he's coached, he's always had a really good defense. And their defense last year at Duke was phenomenal. Let's not forget they forced 6 turnovers against SMU last year. Now they still lost the game. Couldn't couldn't make a kick when they needed to late in the game.
Or get in the end zone, but Malik Murphy is out and Darian Mensah's in. I think that's what they're hoping fixes that.
Hopefully. But you still forced 6. Their defense last year kept them in so many games. And again, their defense has just been a staple. Even the last couple years, the 2 years of Mike Elko, I should say, then Manny Diaz comes in known for having a strong defense. To me, it's that side of the ball. I mean, any coach will tell you, if you're strong on defense, you're going to be in games. You're going to have a chance.
UNC or NC State, where are we going next?
Let's go back to Raleigh. Let's go NC State.
NC State concern for me, 2 new coordinators.
Okay. Even though they're within?
They're promoted from within, which is almost like a different concern because it's like the terminology doesn't change, but the way, because obviously, like if you move coordinators, you want different. But from promoting from within, it's not whole scale different. It's almost it can confuse that way. Changing at the top of a unit is always scary. It could be awesome, right? If it just needed a few tweaks and you get a guy that maybe is a little bit more aggressive or a little bit more conservative, maybe that's all it took. But it can also bottom out on you pretty quickly if things don't go well. Anytime you're changing both coordinators in a season, it feels like drastic moves are being made. So different guys and that defense, has a lot of new players contributing. It's a concern for me.
My concern: how do you get bounced back from a disappointing season? I mean, it's just from a coaching staff team because a lot of those players are back from last year. Obviously, different quarterback than what you started last year with Grayson McCall. But how do you bounce back from that disappointment last year? There are a lot of eyes that are on NC State this year, at least, especially from that fan base that are ready to go. As soon as Dave Doeren struggles, get that guy. I mean, I'll be honest. I think it's fair to say Doran's on a little bit of a hot seat going into the season. I don't think that is unfair saying that, especially when there was so much hoopla a year ago. You were part of that hoopla with all the guys that they brought in, and you go 6-6, and then you lose to ECU in a bowl game. Like, that's not a great look for NC State. To me, a lot of those guys, and I think that kind of necessitated a couple of those coordinator changes because, all right, that obviously didn't work. We have to make some sort of move, but there are legit questions in terms of Where is this team at mentally after the disappointment of last year?
Confidence in NC State. My confidence is a two-parter. One is Justin Joly, and two is CJ Bailey's confidence in Justin Joly. Justin Joly, their tight end, who brought in last year out of the portal, was the number one transfer tight end available in the portal. He impressed me with how he handled himself at media day, but also he impressed me last year with the way he played. He's difficult to bring down. He makes contested catches. He's a big dude. And I love that we had CJ Bailey. I gave him, I put him on the spot yesterday. I said, 3rd and 10, your own 40. You need the first. What's the play call? And his first thought was, all right, we're getting Justin Joly the ball. That was the first thing he said. And then he drew the play around, getting him an option route at the sticks. And giving his tight end a chance. He was the primary. I love that because especially because CJ Bailey's 18 years old and he's got this big whippy arm and all this. He didn't immediately go to I'm sending Noah Rogers 50 yards downfield. He went to, let me get my big tight end. Let me get him to the sticks. Let him use his size and body type and get the catch. So I'm very confident in Justin Joly, and I love that CJ Bailey is also confident in Justin Joly.
You and I are on similar wavelengths on this regard. To me, my confidence is CJ Bailey in the sense of he got real live game reps last year that he wasn't supposed to get. Now, he may have been the starter. That was the plan for him to be the starter coming into this year. Probably would have got limited reps depending on how Grayson McCall, if the injuries and stuff didn't happen last year for Grayson. But he got those real live game reps, and you saw, even with the growing pains, you still saw growth last year. And you're talking about a player that, at least I will say this for a young quarterback, at least he still knows Roper, the offensive coordinator. There's still that level of familiarity in that regard, but you can tell, just seeing him physically in person, okay, he physically matured a little bit.
He said 20 pounds.
Yeah, and you could see it. Now, granted, he's 6'6".
He's still skinny, but I can't. I only saw him and talked to him in pads last year.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what he looked like in street clothes last year. If after putting on 20 pounds, he was still thin, but obviously 20 pounds bigger is 20 pounds bigger. That's super important.
I think that physical maturity from him, I think, is only going to carry him. And hopefully, like you talked about, having that reliable target, obviously, at Justin Joly. And then as you continue to see some of these guys like Paysor and others, I'm sorry, not Paysor, but Noah Rogers.
Paysor, Paysor on UNC.
Yeah, no, UNC, sorry. But you look at Noah
Wesley
Rogers, Wesley Grimes, some of these other young guys. Noah Rogers is a 5-star recruit. It's not an accident. Hopefully he continues to grow as well if you're NC State. And then I think for him as well, I think this is also part of the flaw of NC State last year. There isn't the pressure to feed KC Concepcion the because we saw that last year. It was almost like they were just trying to force KC Concepcion to happen to get him going as opposed to just making him part of the offense. I think that's going to be a massive thing for CJ Bailey.
And we talked about that as it happened. Some of the body language stuff when he did or didn't get the ball was just from an outside perspective appeared pretty worrisome. But that's Texas A&M's fault now, or the problem now.
Well, it's just the play calling. I just felt the play calling was just trying to get him the ball too much, whether it was these jet sweep handoffs or whatever it might be, and it just everything fell flat in that regard.
All right, let's quickly get through UNC just because we're up against it. My concern is a slow start snowballing. As high as everyone is on them now, if that TCU game isn't flawless, if it's a loss, even a well-played loss, people prey on your downfall when you are the most talked about team. If that goes south, and without 70, they have 70 new guys, so you don't have that relationship of no, I know this guy is grinding. You can turn on each other a little quick. So my concern is getting caught in that quicksand, to use the replacements analogy, where the harder you struggle to fix something, the more and more difficult it becomes.
My confidence is the thing you just mentioned, the 70+ new guys. Who's the leader? It's legit. Who's the leader? Hey, guys.
Bill Belichick.
Well, yes, yes, I understand that. But
and only him.
But among the players is that, hey, guys, I've been here before. I know what it's like to go through this. Where's that trust level? That's something that has to be earned over time. It's not just a given thing.
My confidence is their defense.
Okay.
It is headed up by Bill Belichick, and he's speaking of Manny Diaz never really having a bad defense. Bill Belichick never really had a bad defense. Even going back to some of the teams he struggled on and the non-Brady teams that didn't win, the defense was always pretty good. And then on top of that, talking with Will Hardy, one of their safeties yesterday, it did seem like they they kind of cohesively have a plan. And he talked about getting to know everybody, but also everybody knowing their roles. And it just maybe Will Hardy should be a salesman, because I left going like, you know what? I actually think their defense could put this together pretty quickly. Meanwhile, the offense, even though Gio Lopez was magnetic and he's a good dude and it seemed like he was a strong leader, I just left more confident in the defense. So I'm putting, and obviously Bill Belichick as the coach it inherently says the defense is going to be solid. He might be the greatest defensive mind of all time. So I'm leaning on the defense.
That's my confidence is in that just their IQ as coaches, because they've been around and seen so much.
A lot of NFL experience.
But let's not forget the defensive coordinator, Stephen Belichick, was the defensive coordinator at Washington College, not, I'm sorry, the University of Washington,
the Huskies.
not the Washington Commanders. So let's keep in mind, like, there is still a good amount of college coaching experience that Stephen Belichick is bringing. So you're bringing a lot of these different philosophies and people who've experienced different stuff and melding that together. We'll see obviously how it all plays out, but you can't argue their football knowledge and how well these guys can scheme things up.
And he brought a few players with him from Washington, including
True.
Thaddeus Dixon, a corner who's expected to be a borderline day 2 draft pick. So, that helps also. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, from live at Durham Bulls Athletic Park, talking Durham Bulls as they play the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp later this evening, or earlier this evening, or early this evening, not earlier, about 6:35 for the opening pitch. We have real bold predictions, one of my favorite segments of the week, coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Are the Detroit Lions really as close as we think they are?
Yeah, I think the Detroit Lions are right there. And I believe in the culture that head coach Dan Campbell has built in the Motor City. Yeah, I think the Detroit Lions are going to be right there again, vying for NFC supremacy. And I think this is one of the best teams in all of football.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. When we're spending more time outside, especially at home, we're starting to notice all of what the past months, all the wet months did to us. What can people do?
They can give us a call and we can come out and do an assessment of the house. We can walk around the house with you and take a look at your window trims, your door trims, your gutters, your fascia behind your gutters. I mean, rot's everywhere on wooden houses, right? You just see it all the time. And a lot of people get overwhelmed. So what we do, we have all of our professional salesmen will come out to your house and help you walk around. There's no pressure. We're there to really help people. A lot of times people just want to see what do they need to do on their house. So that's what we're here to do. We can help you come together with a package for like windows, doors, siding, roofing, whatever you need. We're here to help you. That's the bottom line.
Also, great financing packages, correct?
Tons of zero-interest financing. We can make payments that are affordable for any home improvement.
I love zero-interest financing. It's my favorite type of financing. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone, available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog Combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, why is your head perking up
I
here?
just didn't realize, Max, you're like such like a yacht rock type of guy. Seeing as how, you're 12, 13?
All right.
No answer from Max on that. All right.
Wait,
got
you're
a little
asking
shy.
if I'm 12 or 13 years old, or?
He's asking for such a young person, how are you into yacht rock based on your selection of music returns?
I mean, my dad always would listen to the yacht rock radio, like Sirius XM, stuff like that. And I don't know. I've just always enjoyed it. As Tim knows, I'm a big Michael McDonald fan, so.
That is true.
Oh, the guy that ruined the Doobie Brothers? Sure. Okay, go on.
If I hear Yamo be there one more time. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for Real Bold Predictions. Is Max running the bell and the buzzer?
Max is running the bell and the buzzer.
All right,
like
Max.
a lot of buzzers now, but we just talk trash in his bump.
Yeah, there you go. I definitely just made my job harder for Real Bold Predictions, because now he's going to be like, oh, yeah, Yamo be there. The way this works, I will make predictions that I feel are bold, and Max back at the studio will be our checks and balances system. If he thinks they are bold enough, we will hear the bell. If he does not, we will hear the buzzer, and I have to make it bolder on the spot until we get to the bell. We're the only place that guarantees our bold predictions are actually bold. We'll start with a couple of ACC, coming out of ACC Kickoff, some ACC bold predictions. First, Darian Mensah, first team All-ACC. Thank you.
Okay.
That means Cade Klubnik, get out of here. Carson Beck, no thank you. Jennings from SMU, sorry. Duke quarterback making the way through.
That is very bold, especially when you look at Cade Klubnik potentially might be the number 1 overall pick.
I don't think Mensah is going to pass him on the draft boards.
True.
I think his efficiency is what's going to do it. And I think Duke is, they're a 9 or 10 win team if this comes true, right? They've got to go win some games in order for him to get the accolades. But it's bold prediction, so I'm being bold.
If that's the case, we're talking Duke going 7-1. Maybe their only loss to Clemson in the actual ACC play, and playing in a conference championship game. That's the level of
Potentially.
You're talking about.
Or the defense maybe isn't as good, and he still puts up numbers. But we'll see.
Possibly.
It's bold. It's bold. Next, Justin Jolie, day 2 draft pick. Justin Jolie, second round draft pick. And keep in mind, he is a tight end who does not go to Iowa. We'll go top 50 draft pick. All right. So it can't even be end of the second round. I think the thing that's going to become his calling card is contested catches and yak.
Yards after catch.
Yes, yards after catch. I think his physicality is going to pop this year. Some hurdles, maybe some stiff arm highlight plays that translate towards a lot of buzz. And also CJ Bailey, like I said earlier, he trusts him, so I think he's going to give him the opportunity to make some of those 50-50 catches down the middle.
I see a lot of targets coming his way.
I agree.
A lot of targets coming his way.
Now, last year I did this darn near every week during the football season until I had to quietly retire it.
Okay.
The ACC gets 3 teams into the college football playoff. All right.
Okay, there it is.
I really had to think about it.
3, I think, would be a huge win.
Well, the question is, are there 12 or 16 teams?
For this year, there's 12, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, this year there's 12.
Yeah.
So 3 becomes both teams in the championship plus one more.
One more.
So what I need to have happen is something like a Duke or an SMU, somebody there makes it into the ACC championship. And then the third highest ranked team from the ACC is a Miami or a Florida State or a Clemson, somebody with some brand recognition that can get those cheap brand recognition, name recognition votes.
Well, I mean, according to Pat Narduzzi, it's going to be the head coach of Pitt. It's going to be Pitt, North Carolina in the ACC championship game. So maybe it is Clemson.
I don't know. I don't know if that's great, because I don't know if the loser of Pitt UNC would automatically get in.
Hey, I don't know. They're 11-1.
Yeah, I was going to say,
We'll see.
if they're high enough. 3 would be so good for the reputation of the league to get 3.
Absolutely.
Let's go to a Canes one here.
Oh,
how about
okay.
this? And Max, I know you're a Canes historian, so this could play. 3 current Canes finish their career in the top 5 in franchise goals scored. Really?
Now we're talking a real quick question. We're talking franchise of just Canes, or are we going back Whalers
the
days as
franchise.
well?
We are including the Ron Francises and everybody that had some Whalers goals.
Oh, definitely a buzzer then with Hartford included as well. I mean, I think it would have been with the Canes anyway, just because you already got Aho, Svechnikov both on the roster.
Svech is not in the top 3. Neither, I don't think Aho is either. Or Aho might be. Aho might be 3rd.
Well, Aho's like already up there.
So I mean, do I have to go 4? 4 current Canes in the top 5 when their career is over? That's tough. I mean, Aho is 3rd, right? So he's in.
Yeah.
Svech, I think he's like another 100 goals out. So he would at least, like, you're talking probably another maybe not. But he's going to have to score effectively for at least 3, 4, 5, 6 more years, something like that. But then you like the Jarvis, Stankoven, Blake group have such a long career left that you're projecting a certain amount of goals per year over a whole bunch of them. So I guess we're going Aho, and then 3 of the 4 out of Jarvis, Stankoven, Blake, Svechnikov to make
8 years
that work.
is a long time.
8 years, 9 years for some of them is a long time. But that's also like, you can't just pencil someone in for like 30 goals a year for the next 9. That's a long time to go. But I guess I just did for a bold prediction's sake. We'll go to some football stuff here. Princely, Uman Mielen. I'm getting higher and higher on Princely. Finishes top 5 in the NFL in rookie sacks. Not in history this year. There's a 3rd-round pick I would like to emphasize. There was a 4th overall pick that was an edge rusher. There's a whole bunch of first-rounders. 2 alone on the Falcons, first-round edge rushers. So what if I go, I'm going to take this one at a time and make you tell me when it's okay, Max. Top 4 in rookie sacks this year. Top 3 in rookie sacks this year for a 3rd-rounder. I bet you the odds are he finishes like 2nd in rookie sacks on his own team. Yeah. You're making me say top 3 in the league in rookie sacks.
Well, I thought this was real bold predictions.
They are real bold. Not real bold meaning like authentic bold, not really, really bold.
Yeah.
But hey, you're the bell and the buzzer.
But here's the thing. He could be top 3 in the NFL in sacks and still 2nd among rookies.
If you're putting Scorton first.
Pops off too. Yeah. But hey, Scorton could have like 8.
And then Princely 7.5.
Yeah.
If that happens, the Panthers are better than I thought.
Oh, yeah.
If that happens, the Panthers are winning 8+ games. Omarion Hampton leads rookies in rushing yards. There's a gentleman by the name of Ashton Genty in the league, leads rookies by 100 or more yards. I think the Najee Harris thing is being underplayed. Yeah. He might not be back for training camp. And if he's not back for training camp, I don't see Harbaugh just giving him, 15 carries a game fresh off the injured reserve. So that could be a huge amount of carries for Omarion Hampton fresh out of the gate. And he's someone that's used to a high workload. He got the ball a ton at UNC.
Absolutely. And then he's got Nyheim Hines out there too now.
Nyheim Hines. But he's, big fan of Nyheim Hines. Pass catcher, kick returner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know how many rushing yards he's taken away. Some touches he will take away.
Yeah, some of the passing game. We're looking at strictly rushing stats. Absolutely.
And last one here, just because I've seen this all over social media.
Okay.
Happy Gilmore wins the tour championship in Happy Gilmore 2. You're darn right. Gets his 2nd gold jacket.
Gold jacket, green jacket.
I don't know. It comes out later this month. Or it comes out today, right?
Today.
Comes out today. So some of you may already know
spoilers
whether he wins the tour championship. I promise you, I do not know. So I'm not spoiling anything. I have not seen it.
I need to watch Fantastic Four first.
Happy Gilmore wins the tour championship. And maybe the Waterbury Open again. Who knows?
Yeah. He's got to earn his tour card back.
Yeah, he hasn't played in a while. I've seen the trailer. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9, the Fan. That is real bold predictions. Max, real quick, explain why the Happy Gilmore was a bold prediction. Are you betting against Happy? Do you think it's bold that he would win the tour championship?
It's been, 30 years? Like, surely he doesn't have another championship in him. We've not seen a return to form like that.
2019.
Yeah.
This is his Jack in '86.
This is Phil Mickelson.
The PGA was it out there in South Carolina. So. Happy Gilmore wins the tour championship. Was bold according to Max. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are here outside the Durham Bulls Athletic Park left field wall, right under the Bull. If you've been to the DBAP in the past, if not, you should. It's an awesome experience. They're playing the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp at 6:35 tonight. we'll be dodging home run balls here during BP throughout the warm-up period, and we'll be here for the starting five coming up in just a minute. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. When you are somewhere like we are right now, sitting where you might be in harm's way, maybe you throw on a G-Shock like I have on right now, right? It's durable, it's rugged. They could hit a baseball fresh, straight 300 feet right onto my wrist. I'd be confident I'm okay. There is a watch for every occasion at the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location, from G-Shocks all the way up to the pre-owned and vintage Rolex, the Blancpain, the Omega. We're talking Seamaster, Speedmaster, Railmaster, Globemaster, Constellation when you're talking Omega. There's something for every situation. You want to be dressy, you want to be in a tux. They have a luxury watch that'll turn heads the moment you walk in. You want to be historic? And go grab something like the Blancpain 50 Fathoms, one of the granddaddies of them all when it comes to dive watches. If you want to have a pop of color, maybe a little electric green, something that's a little bit more unusual on a luxury watch, but you want to make a statement, the Norcanes are sitting right there in a beautiful display inside the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop. There truly is something for everyone. And it's a cool vibe. Sit down, have a drink, listen to some music while you find the watch of your dreams. Let them know when you stop by that you heard about it from me, Tim, on 99.9 The Fan. It's all at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop at their Village District location. Again, let them know you heard about it right here. We have the starting five coming up next. Don't go anywhere. More from live at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park coming up.
The Adam Gold Show.
I keep getting the same question about, is Carolina done? I think Carolina is done for now. Too many teams in the NHL, 31 out of 32, actually think they're going to make the playoffs. So those teams are not giving away or selling off their best players. So Carolina will play the waiting game, and 2 months into the season, 3 months into the season, a lot of those teams aren't going to be in the playoff hunt. That's when Carolina strikes.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Offer ends July 31st.
See Home Club for details.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
Get in the hole!
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. Our heat wave has begun. Hottest weather looks like it may end up coming this weekend. 100 both Saturday and Sunday. Both days have an extreme heat warning. Both days, the heat index value reaching 110.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell up 208 points to 44,901. Market update brought to you by Bolton Construction Services. Bolton is actively hiring experienced HVAC techs with a $2,500 sign-on bonus. As a family-owned leader in HVAC, Bolton puts people first. Don't miss out. Apply now at boltonservice.com.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
99 The Fan from Durham Bulls Athletic Park, where the Durham Bulls will be taking on the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp in just a little bit, 6:35. So less than 2 hours.
You can listen to that game over on Buzz Sports Radio or 99.9 HD2. Buzz Sports Radio is 99.3 FM or 96.5, depending if you're in Raleigh or Durham, or again 99.9 HD2.
And that's where you can find most Durham Bulls games.
That's where you find them all. Man.
So they, we shout out to our sister stations there.
Patrick Keenis on the call.
The Durham Bulls, by the way, awesome experience to come out and catch a game live.
Oh, for sure.
I bring my 4-year-old out here. We do the whole thing. You do the hot dog, you do the drink, you sit down, you watch a game. I love minor league baseball for so many reasons. My favorite is the I saw them wins. There's something awesome about seeing like an all-star Junior Caminero, maybe when you're watching him in the home run derby, make it all the way to the finals. And it's like, I watched him right here last year playing third base for the Durham Bulls. So, there's always one of those. There's always one of the top prospects in the Rays organization right here. And remember it, right? I find that very, very cool. It's one of my favorite things about minor league baseball.
And being an affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays, a franchise that's known for just bloating their farm system and great prospects, because once they get really, really good, they trade them away. But they get all these top prospects, but you get, like you say, you get a chance to see them here. And we're talking legit some of the top prospects in all of baseball, not just the Rays, but all of baseball played down here. And it is fun to watch to catch some of these guys before they make it big.
So basically, and I don't even know if they'd like me saying this, you can come here and you can watch the stars of the Rays of the next 5 years, and then the stars of the Dodgers for the next 10.
Yeah, exactly. like literally, there are guys on this team, on this field right now that in 5 years will be Yankees.
Yeah, for a lot more money.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's stop getting ourselves in trouble and jump to the starting five, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Bruh. We have an executive order on college sports to discuss. The president has put an executive order out there that directs his members of the members of his cabinet to develop a plan in the next 30 days aimed at preserving college sports opportunities and preventing college athletes from becoming professionals, according to the executive order he signed yesterday. The gist of it is they want to find ways to stop boosters at the industry's wealthiest schools from paying athletes via contracts that are endorsement deals on paper, but function in reality as de facto salaries. So that's kind of the terms that are all in the ESPN article about it. I'll give you my thoughts. This is to attack the very simple workaround of NIL that teams and collectives have found, which is we can just give you cash. That is very obviously if you play for this team, you get this cash in exchange for, to make it within the rules, a couple autograph signings, a couple events for collective donors. You see this where a collective will say, hey, if you give $100 to the collective, you get a meet and greet with 2 players from the football team. And then they pay the players a bunch of money, with the only obligation being they have to go to a few of these meet and greets, sign a couple autographs, and then they get $100,000 a year or whatever it ends up being, making up numbers.
You got to sit down and have dinner with a booster like once a month.
Or when you donate just $20 a month, you get a mail or a box in your mail that comes with an 8.5 by 11 signed by a current player and a football signed by a former great, like something along those lines. And this executive order is to make it so those go away, right? It's to make it so if a player is getting an endorsement deal, there is actually endorsement value going back to a company. For example, a local restaurant can pay a player if that player is in commercials and that player is in promotional material saying like, I eat at Joe's or whatever the place is. Now,
fair market value being the key term and all that.
I don't know how you decide fair market value, and I don't know what's the problem with a player getting paid more than fair market value. Those are the 2 questions I have. Why? And I'm not, by the way, I don't get in politics. I don't care who would have issued this executive order. I don't care if it was under the last regime, this regime. I don't care if it was a governor or someone else that feels like they have some power. I don't care if it was the NCAA who has tried to make very similar rules that have been challenged in courts. I don't know why it's bad that players get paid more than you think they're worth, because it's somebody's hard-earned dollars. Let them spend it however they want to spend it.
Yeah.
If I'm a super rich guy, first of all, awesome, I'm super rich. How does that feel? No clue. But if I were super rich and I wanted to give my money to find the enjoyment of my favorite team being good, why is that such a bad thing? By the way, it's not like up until now, every team has been operating on some kind of equal scale. Alabama's football complex cost $288 million, and that was before players got paid. And then they brought their recruits through and said, we have a hot tub, a cold tub, every locker comes with an Xbox or whatever the heck they have. Money has always been a differentiator. It's not like up until now, the only reason Georgia recruited better than Eastern Michigan was because they put their nose to the grindstone and worked harder. It's always been about money. And now that the players are the ones seeing the good of it, it becomes an issue. Boosters were boosters and big fundraising groups getting fair market value when they were just cutting $10 million checks to put a slide in the locker room of Clemson? No, they weren't getting any value from that, and everybody was cool with it. That all-in fund that Clemson has had for all these years that gave them a wiffle ball field in the football relaxation area, like they weren't getting any kind of fair market value for that. It's just now that players are getting the money, suddenly it's like, well, can you show us your debits and credits to show us that revenue has been increased by this spending of cash with the players? It's an unnecessary bit of red tape that's making everybody jump through.
And here's the thing. Here's how we'll look at fair market value. If someone's willing to pay me X amount of dollars, that's my market value, because someone's willing to pay me that. I could set a price, by the way, of like, hey, you know what, I'm going to ask for, let's say $10,000, and someone's only willing to pay me $5,000, and I can't make a deal done. Well, then, because someone's only willing to pay that much. But if I say someone offers you $5,000, hey, my rate's 10, they go, I'll meet you at 8. Cool deal. Guess what? That's my value.
This is one of the frustrating things, and I fall for it sometimes. In following like NHL free agency aggressively this summer, there's these analytics companies that put out like market value of player, and those, the market value is $6.8 million, and then they say projected deal on the open market, and it's like 8.2. I'm like, well, the 8.2 is the market value.
Yeah.
You are openly saying if they go to market, this is what they'll get paid. And then you're saying the market value is something else. I'm not calling it. There are certain websites I'm calling out, but I'm not doing so by name because they're doing what they think is best for their analytics. But it's like, no, market value is what you get paid on the open market. That is what market value is. So to turn around and say like a player getting paid $1 million for 10 autograph signings is too much, then is way over market value. I'm going, I don't know. It appears to me like they went to the market and that's what they got paid.
Yep.
Market value. I'm very confused by everybody's obsession with this.
We'll see how much this policy sticks. Again, it's a policy thing.
It's an executive order is what it is. And yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But I would guess lawyers are already making billable hours expectations.
Oh, for sure.
As number 5, let's hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 all together.
It means more.
UNC, according to Inside Carolina, exploring a move to the SEC. First of all, jaws on the ground. All right, I'll pick up your jaw, collect your breath after that gasp. The Carolina Tar Heels, according to Inside Carolina, are aiming for the SEC if they were to leave the ACC. A few things here. 2030, 2031 is the year, the school year, when the ACC's exit fees drop to their lowest possible. It drops to $75 million, and it'll be that way through the end of their grant of rights, which ends in 2036.
Mm-hmm.
I would be very surprised if by the end of 2031, Clemson and Florida State are both part of the ACC. Because once it drops to $100 million, a little under, I see, especially Florida State, because they were, fundraising, and it appeared, doing their best to get the exit fee together when they thought it was hundreds of millions of dollars more than that. So if they think there's a landing spot in the SEC or Big Ten, I believe Florida State and or Clemson will be either using that as leverage to really take ownership of the ACC, to where it's like, if you get 2 auto bids, let's put it in writing. One of them goes to us and one of them goes to whoever's the best in the ACC. Like, they will strong arm or they'll be gone. So if I'm UNC, you got to prepare for everything, right? If I'm UNC, there's got to be a binder somewhere with, okay, if Clemson and Florida State get out, what do we do? If Florida and if Florida State and Clemson stay, but they try to exert power over us, what power do we have?
Yep.
Can we threaten to leave? Do we have a landing spot elsewhere? And I believe UNC is exceptionally attractive on the open market. Again, going open market. I think if they were a free agent, they would be one of the first draft picks in the country as far as conference membership. So exploring the idea of going to different conferences, having a plan if the ACC faces drastic struggles, that's just covering your bases. Now, if we hear something like, they've started fundraising to pay an exit fee, if we hear something along the lines of, they have an out date by 2020 something, then I'm starting to sound alarms, and I'm getting worried about the ACC. But right now, as far as I know, and as far as the reporting has been done, it's all conversations, and I believe those conversations are being had behind closed doors at most schools.
Let's keep in mind, for any state school in North Carolina, so we're talking UNC State, App, ECU, Charlotte, UNC Pembroke, Fayetteville State, Elizabeth City State, all these schools that are state funded, that are at the college level, if they want to make a move in regards to going to another conference, it's not up to that individual school to make that decision. It comes down to the actual UNC, University of North Carolina school system
statewide.
That makes the decision yes or no. You can make the appeal and say, hey, we have an offer to go here. This is what we want to do. It's not the school's final decision to make. It's just not, because that's policy that's written by our state legislators. UNC can't make this decision on their own. Even if they get all the funds, the state will say, if you want to go, you got to bring NC State with you.
I mean, they can make recommendations. And by the way, in many of the cases where I see UNC being a big domino falling early, I think it's going to be when they feel they have no choice.
Yeah.
They're going to say, we feel impending doom of the ACC, and we don't want to be left with the musical chairs without a chair. Making that appeal to the UNC system is different than, it's more lucrative to be in the they got better media rights over there, and we'd like a we'd like a share of that. It's a different argument than that. So I think this is more UNC trying to be prepared than it is UNC trying to be proactive in their chase of leaving the ACC.
But it is going to be vital that the state is going to make sure that its biggest institutions, UNC and NC State, are both taken care of and that no one's left behind financially.
And by the way, I think both of them are attractive on the open market.
Oh, absolutely.
I think they, I talk about this cool kids. If there's a super league and they go 50 or 60 teams, football only, into a level that is something above FBS but below NFL, I think they would both be included. There's no guarantee there. And if one of them can say, I'm not coming unless my buddy or my friend that's handcuffed to me by the government comes along, I think that just increases their chances.
You got to take your brother with you.
Yeah. Although I refrain from that analogy just because I know neither of, maybe you have to say twin brother, because neither likes being the little brother.
No, it's just your brother. Never said older little brother.
No, I know.
You got to bring your brother.
Not saying which
bring
one would
your
be.
cousin.
Yeah, there we go. Cousin might be better. That's number 4. Let's hit number 3.
Falcons showing blitz. They bring the blitz. Young hits David Moore on the slant and into the end zone for a touchdown.
Into the end zone on a touchdown. Happy birthday, Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Today is Bryce Young's birthday. And the reason I bring it up is,
24.
Solid. That's why I'm bringing it up. 24. Just because he's going into his 3rd year, he's still very, very young. And there's still an on-ramp of development that you hope will happen. The example I've been using as a comparison is Tyler Shuck was a high second round draft pick of the New Orleans Saints this year. Many believe he'll be the starter. Right now in training camp, he is in a competition with Spencer Rattler to be the New Orleans Saints starter. He's going to turn 26 in September. He's a rookie this year.
Yeah.
He's going to turn 26 in September. Bryce Young, going into year 3, just turned 24 today. So there's still an expectation that he won't hit his prime for a while.
You know who else is older than him? Sam Hartman, former Wake Forest quarterback, former Notre Dame quarterback, who was a rookie last year in the Washington Commanders system. He turns 26 in a few days on the 29th.
Sam Hartman
So
also
he's 2
cut his
years
hair.
older than Bryce Young.
I just saw him jogging out to practice the other day on his Instagram video.
Great hair.
He cut it.
Oh,
He's a little short hair guy now.
Like Samson in your power, buddy. What are you doing?
Still a nice head of hair. Let's not get crazy,
Nice. Call
but
it what it
it's not whipping in the wind as much. But my point is, there's still an element of projection to Bryce Young. Even after this upcoming year, where you're going to have the opportunity after a third year, as all first-round quarterbacks do, to sign a long-term extension. There's still an element of projection, right? You're still at the point where some guys are rookies or players like Jordan Love that sit a few years before they get their opportunity. Like they're still around the same age that Bryce Young, when they're kind of debuting, around the same age that Bryce Young will be after this upcoming year. So it's you're not just paying for the player he is. You're not just evaluating him on the player he is. You're evaluating him the player he could be, by the time you hit 26, 27 years old, which he won't be for a couple more years. And also he does, he gives off a mature vibe in interviews and things. So sometimes you forget he's that young.
By the way, the Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick, is 23 years old. Turned 23 back in May.
Well, he did a couple years at Incarnate Word, a couple years at Washington State. He did some time in Miami. He what's the Tommy Boy line? A lot of people take 7 years to graduate college.
Yeah, call him doctor.
There you go. That's number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us.
2 running back set. Bailey keeps. Bailey dives to the end zone. Touchdown! NC State! And now the fireworks go off on time.
Dave Doeren and the NC State Wolfpack open up their football season against ECU. ECU was also the team they ended their season against last year in a bowl game with a disappointing loss followed by we call it a melee, a scrum, a Donnybrook, a scuffle, a little Donnybrook after the game. I have a quote here from Dave Doeren given to fellow Delaware Blue Hen, David Hale, writer for ESPN College Football. This is from Dave Doeren. I will bleep it myself because it is a written quote. I don't want to just win that game. I want to beat the bleep out of them. Not because of them, but because of how we played. I told our team in the locker room that's the most embarrassed I've ever been as a coach. Not because we lost, but because of how we behaved at the end of it. I'm not going to be part of football like that, so they can change or they can find a new coach because I'm not going to do it anymore. There it is. I'll continue. To me, it's disrespectful to the game of football. It's disrespectful to the staff and the fans, and they understand. And they understand what this game is about. It's about winning the football game, and if it's my way, it'll be in blowout fashion. But they're a good football team, and they've gotten a lot of good parts coming back, so it'll be fun. End of quote.
I like this.
So do I.
I love it, actually.
Do you know what I like about it? Dave Doeren, we talked about it earlier. There could be a hot seat element to this season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just want to win that game. I want to beat the bleep out of them. Or at the end there, and my way, it'll be in blowout fashion. You're setting a bar, right? Now, if you win by 7, that's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not being afraid. That's writing a check that your players are going to have to cash. And you get to honestly look them in the eye and say, listen, I put myself on the line for you guys. I need y'all to go out and back me up right now. I've made it known that we're not just going to win this game. We're going to beat the bleep out of them. Now you have to go beat the bleep out of them.
And ECU obviously is going to see that too. It's probably already been passed around their team already.
100%. 100%.
Oh, hey, did
there's
you see
group
what he
chats.
said about
There's
us?
group chats where you just send that with a couple eyeball emojis, and everybody knows what's up. But
pin that in everyone's locker at East Carolina. You know it's going to be.
And also, if I'm Dave Doeren, I'm going, what, do you think ECU wasn't going to be fully ramped up for this game?
Sure.
Like 100% is 100%.
Fuel to the fire, though.
Absolutely. And it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that one. It is a game that State needs to win and probably needs to win by a bunch. And ECU could start their season off with a huge rocket booster attached to them if they can pull off the upset yet again.
Oh, yeah.
And the extracurriculars will be, there'll be some pushing and shoving after the whistle. Even if Dave Doeren says he's, feels it's disrespectful, there will still be a couple shoves. I guarantee it.
Yeah, like you said, with that statement from Doeren, it can't be a squeak by.
No.
It can't be like, yeah, we won this one 17-14 type deal. You can't squeak by in this one. Now you got to win convincingly.
And ECU knows there's going to be no, if State gets up 14, there's no let's take the air out of the ball. It's CJ Bailey going deep.
Yep.
Flea flicker.
Yeah, Justin Jolie down the seam.
Fake punt. They're going to be going for it because they not only want to win, they want their pound of flesh. They want their revenge.
Yeah, they want to set that tone.
And that's what game ones are all about, right? Sometimes you do want to keep the pedal down a little bit, win, and then get some style points for it as well. But that is salty Dave. I do think it's funny, and we talked to him about it, right? CJ Bailey called out, what was it, UNC, right? He said, shoot, Bill Belichick can get it too. This is the quarterback, CJ Bailey. Earlier this year, I saw a quote in the Wolfpacker. It doesn't matter who the coach is, they're going to get kicked, is basically what he said. And Dave Doeren was like, there's some things that need to stay when we talked to him about it. There's some things that need to stay in the locker room. Then he walked around the corner and told David Hale, I don't just want to beat him, I want to beat the bleep out of him. Well played, Dave Doeren. What I meant was players have to keep it in the locker room.
Yeah,
not me. That's number 2. Let's wrap up the starting 5 with number 1. Number 1.
At the end of the day,
little Matt Rule right there. Just wanted to throw in a little Matt Rule giggle. Jackson Blake extension, middle of the night last night. About 10:30 last night, the Carolina Hurricanes said, is everybody talking about football? Cool. Yeah. Let's sign our rookie to an 8-year extension. Jackson Blake, 21-year-old, 8-year, $5.6 and change $1 million a year extension for Jackson Blake. Rod Brindamore was on 99.9 The Fan earlier with Paul Ihander, and this is what he said on Blake getting a contract extension. Do we have Rod Brindamore?
You identify players that, number one, are talented and good hockey players, but then we want guys that, I say, do it right. Have just a great character and hardworking kids. And when you find them, you want to keep them as long as you can. And I think that's kind of what we've done here. And I think we all agree. There's a lot of talent there. I know he's only played a year, but I think it's pretty evident that it's going to be a good bet for both sides, and going to be happy to have him around for a long time.
So here's the deal. Eric Tulsky, the GM, is not afraid of adding term to young guys' contracts.
No, not at all.
They are in the business of betting on not just the player, but I believe they're in the business of betting on their culture's impact on the player, right? Because they've now given 8-year extensions to Jackson Blake, Logan Stanko, and these guys are a combined, basically Brent Burns years old. They're 43 combined? If we look at Jackson Blake and Logan Stankoven,
I think 44.
44.
Well, I mean, August 3rd is Jackson Blake's 22nd.
Well, no, so he's 21. So yeah, they're
43.
There you go. These guys are under contract for the next 9 years. 9 years, which is obviously a bet on the player's talent and their work ethic and their ability to develop, but it's also on Rod Brindamore and the strength staff and the support staff and the veterans that they'll be around who are also under contract for quite some time, and the Sebastian Ahos and the Andrei Svechnikov and the Jacob Slavins, that the environment will be one, the incubator that can help turn these little chicks into fully grown chickens, right? It's a bet on both sides is what I'm saying. This is not just a bet on the player like it's always made out to be. You evaluate, you see the things, the traits that you're looking for in the player, and then you say them mixed in as Canes for the next decade, they're going to like the results. And if you're right, you end with, 4 or 5 years of a good contract and then 4 years on the back end of a great contract, because the cap's going to rise and their value will rise and they'll be more into the meat of their prime. And you'll have them for, the cap hit actually on Jackson Blake's deal is $500,000 less than he's getting paid because of some of the deferred money, which isn't even going to be legal a year from now.
Yep.
So you'll have him at a $5.1 million cap hit. That's really good business if you pick the right guys to bet on.
For sure. And here's the thing as well, like you mentioned, it's 9 years because he still has the remaining year on his entry-level contract, same as Logan Stankoven. To me, Carolina overall has done a pretty good job of identifying their young, talented players and locking them in early. We saw Jacob Slavin, remember, locked in on a long-term contract early in his career. Now he's on that second contract,
which is also ridiculously good value.
Also a steal. Brett Pesce, same thing. Identified him early, locked him into a long-term deal. Jarvis. Aho had the whole offer sheet thing, but still nonetheless. Like, basically, Montreal did the negotiating for him. But Svechnikov, now we're seeing it with Stankoven. We're seeing it with Jackson Blake. They're identifying good young players and locking them in early. And also, like you said, betting on the value. The percentage of that salary, a $5.1 million cap hit in 3 years from now, is going to be minuscule compared to what the salary cap is going to be. So you're banking on that. And you also might be looking at a guy that you feel that had 17 goals and 17 assists this past year as a rookie that, hey, you know what? Eventually he's going to be a consistent 23, 24, 25 goal scorer, 50-point guy consistently for us skating in our middle six. Only paying him 5.1. I'm getting 25 plus goals a year. That's what you're banking him eventually becoming, because he still has his development years and his prime years all take up the length of that contract.
A lot of times in these situations, I try to look at the floor.
Yeah.
Because if you're paying for the ceiling, or you're saying if he hits his ceiling, this is going to be a steal, that's everybody.
Yeah.
But if you look at the floor, like if Jackson Blake doesn't get a ton better, right? He had 17 goals as a rookie. If he gets just a little better, 22 goals a year, something like if he throws 5 more, it's still a good deal for the second half of this deal. The floor of it is solid, and you also have the ability, or the whatever the percentage is, if he goes way above his floor or gets near his ceiling, you're looking at a deal that can be, one of those things when you have a cup window, 6 years into the future, your competitors are going, how in the heck do they have Jackson Blake on $5.1 million a year? Like, think about Kokaniemi. What is he, 4.8?
4.82.
4.82, and you're getting Jackson Blake 8 years into the future for $300,000 more per year.
Yeah,
like
he's already been more productive.
That right there is, that probably says something about the Kokaniemi contract, but it also says a lot about what Jackson Blake can bring to the table. And even if he doesn't reach his ceiling, I still think it's a good deal.
I think it's a really, really solid deal overall. And there's I didn't see any clauses in there about, does he have a no movement clause or a no trade clause? Or I didn't see any of those clauses in there. So eventually, if you decide that you do need to move on, or if you're trying to make a swing for a big deal, 3 years from now, people might look and say, hey, 5.1 for Jackson Blake, that's going to be a 50-point guy. We'll take that as part of it.
Yep. Well, yeah, exactly. If you're going for your 100-point guy, they might want a 50-point guy in return, just to play the position, which occasionally I do think the Canes need a 100-point guy, but I won't be mad at you for stacking 50 or 60-point guys.
Yeah.
Occasionally I will ask you to take a bigger swing, but it's good business.
So, by the way, the contract does not impact this year's salary cap. So if they still want to make a move during the season in terms of making a trade for a player, whatever it might be, got to make a move for a goaltender, you're not hamstrung. You're not.
Nikishin's next up. Could not be till next offseason. Maybe likely not till next offseason, but he's the next guy to lock into the core. He's really the only guy of the core that's not locked in.
Yeah.
Which is nice. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. No numbers game today due to us being remote here at Durham Bulls Athletic Park. About an hour away from opening pitch between the Durham Bulls and the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. So when we return, we'll look towards one of the flavors of the day, one of the stories of the day. The UNC Tar Heels and Bill Belichick steam and hype building. Coming up next.
Move your sports day forward.
I've got a nickname for the Carolina Panthers defense this preseason, the Donut D. A big hole in the middle now that linebacker Josie Jewell got his release and Shaq Thompson was cut months ago. If Ejiro Evero gets this D shaped up in time for the regular season and finds a way to stop second-level runs, he gets a medal and a contract extension.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Fill your tank. Don't drain your wallet. Sam's Club lets you save time at the pump with Scan and Go checkout at Sam's Club fuel stations. Just scan the QR code on the pump and pay. Visit your local Sam's Club today.
With Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, you can easily find the right home insurance for you, even if it's not with Progressive. But if you don't choose us, then sure, okay, it's not going to work out. We're not going to cry about it or stay awake wondering what our future together would have looked like. We can't get emotionally invested even if it sounds like we are. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer allows you to easily compare home insurance rates and coverages in one place, even if it's not with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. I love you. I shouldn't have said that.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Michael McDonald, Yamobi there, bringing you out of break. Oh, Max, excellent comedic timing. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are live in Durham Bulls Athletic Park, where the Durham Bulls will be taking on the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp in just about an hour on what I will describe as a toasty day here in Durham.
Oh, you don't say.
Although, let me refresh real quickly here. It does feel... It's down to 103 on the feels like temperature. 94 feels like 103, which is a far cry from the 107 it was feeling like when we started the show earlier today, which means I'm still sweating.
I need to go to the store and buy a hoodie.
That just made me like start sweating more just thinking about throwing a hoodie on. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan.
Which, by the way, real quick, I have rant here for like 10 seconds.
Go ahead.
I have seen too many people in this heat this summer wearing jeans and hoodies out in public, outside, not inside, outside. What are you doing? What are you doing?
You look cool. Aura.
Trust me.
Got to go with the aura.
Yeah, aura's sweating. That's what your aura is. Good Lord. Okay, Rando.
Rant over?
Yeah.
You felt like you had more there. You're
no,
good?
I did, but
right.
we have bigger issues to discuss here,
all right,
including what is Bill Belichick's team going to look like this season in UNC.
What is his team going to look like? Here is the one thing hanging over UNC that apparently no one is catching. I don't want to say no one. A lot of people are willing to overlook because it's Bill Belichick. They're going to have 70-plus new players. 40-plus transfers, plus the incoming freshman class is 70-plus. For example, to put that in perspective, the scholarship limit that was there for most of, now the NIL kind of blurs it, like how much you actually have on the roster, was 85. For most of the time that college football has been a thing in my life, you had 85 scholarship players. They're going to have like 75 new players this year. And there are some websites out there that predict 9 of the 11 starters on defense will be incoming transfers. That's not easy. And I actually appreciated the candor of Dave Doeren, NC State's head coach, because I brought it up to him when we were talking to him yesterday, that last year at ACC Kickoff, everyone was very excited about their transfers. They had a running back, like 3 wide receivers, a tight end, an offensive lineman, a quarterback, all of these transfers coming in. And he pretty matter-of-factly said, yeah, we took too many. He said it was almost like we were taking them because we could rather than we needed to, because they brought in one transfer and that transfer said, hey, I got a buddy. He's a 5-star and he wants to play wherever I go. And then it's like, all right, yeah, we'll take him. And hey, we got a buddy. He's a 4-star. He wants to come back to North Carolina, right? He went out of state and he wants to come. And he was like, it was a waterfall like that. And suddenly we had a whole bunch of really talented transfers, but the chemistry was off. And thus they limped their way to a 6-win season. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with Carolina, but it is within the range of options, right? So now just to hear everybody go, Bill Belichick's got UNC, and they're going to win this, and they're going to win that, and they're going to be great. And I'm going like, they've got 70-something new guys. Even if they're the most talented players in the country, it is difficult to make a team cohesive and make them on the same page at all points in time when – they introduced themselves to each other 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Like just, hey, nice to meet you. I'm so-and-so. 4 months later, I need to be able to communicate with you with 2 words and a hand signal from 30 yards away in an away stadium with 80,000 people screaming at the top of their lungs. And I'm going like, oh, I don't know anything about you. It's just difficult. And we've seen teams get better by flipping their entire roster, right? Colorado, the first year of Deion, is legendary. They went from one of the worst teams in Division I to middle of the pack in their conference, right? They didn't jump to CFP, right? They didn't jump to one loss. They weren't competing with the top of the top. And even that was an impressive feat. So with a similarly buzzworthy player or buzzworthy coach, right? Big name, NFL legend, Bill Belichick taking over, I think they can get better. But I think there is a ceiling to how good they can be this year simply because it's all new.
And no preseason games, no joint practices to figure all this stuff out, to figure out what you have. It's literally just practicing against yourselves. And it's like, staring into a broken mirror. You don't really know what you look like. That's the thing. It's like I got pieces, I got fragments, but I don't really know what the full picture is. That's kind of what North Carolina is going into the season. And as much as we want to give the love to Bill Belichick and when he did his career, let's not forget how it ended in New England without Tom Brady. Like, there was some bad, a lot of bad.
And
there really was. Let's not discount that either. We have to take that. There's a reason why New England wanted to move on. But I like how he has a plan to structure what he wants North Carolina to look like. But again, with so many new guys, who the hell knows?
I really think the best or the only kind of similar situation you can compare it to is Deion at Colorado.
Yeah.
And if you remember, like, the hype, the circus, if you will, surrounding that, where they had Lil Wayne and The Rock and everybody else, and like, I think Bill Belichick is drawing a similar circus.
Ironically, played TCU to start the season.
TCU to start the season, which
was
the
first game.
That was the announcement, right? Because TCU had just been in the national championship. And,
yeah.
It turns out they weren't that team again, but that's what kind of got everybody to buy in on Colorado.
I will give this, though, to Deion. At least Deion had a couple years at Jackson State as a college coach before going to Colorado. So at least there's a little collegiate experience, something Bill just doesn't have.
If you ask Bill, though,
Football's football.
Well, he's not coaching like college. He's coaching the 33rd NFL team.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I'm still not 100% sure what that means. But he's doubling and tripling down on it.
So trade deadline here, Bill.
How funny would that be?
Right.
If after TCU they have a rough game and he's like, well, we're going to explore some options on the trade deadline, see if we can improve that offensive line a little bit.
Bring in some free agent workouts.
Yeah, it's I'm going to call up Edelman, see if he's got eligibility. I did think it was cool, though, talking with Will Hardy, the safety for UNC yesterday at ACC Kickoff. He said Bill's bringing in Patriot players to talk to them, and I said, well, give me one that you really remember, really enjoyed, and he said Stephon Gilmore, and I was
nice.
I was like, oh, yeah, NFL Defensive Player of the Year, came in and passed along a few pearls of wisdom, and he said, and it wasn't just even like playing for Belichick or the scheme. He goes, he battled injuries, and he talked about rehabbing or getting back on the field like a pro. And it's like, okay, there are things like that Bill Belichick can bring to the table that a lot of coaches maybe don't, right? And I'm not saying nobody has, connections in the NFL, but what I am saying is Bill Belichick has more of them than your favorite college coach, most likely. So Stephon Gilmore being the one that he brought up is a good one, and he mentioned a bunch of others. He said when they watch film, he's playing the McCourty role. That's like
Which one?
I assume Devin, the safety,
Yeah.
right? I think that's the right one.
They're twins.
I know they're twins, the Rutgers. Maybe Duron Harmon would have been the better term for what role he was playing. But like that, those are kind of the cool things that his Patriots history bring to UNC. I'm not saying there's not benefits of having Bill Belichick.
Sure.
I'm saying even the benefits of having Bill Belichick don't snap your fingers and give chemistry to 70 guys that just met each other playing football. It's the ultimate team sport for a reason, and it takes time to get good at it as a unit. There. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break when we come back from live out here at Durham Bulls Athletic Park. We are under the bull in left field. We'll make our picks and send you out into the weekend the right way. Don't go anywhere.
Evan, Kenty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Are the Detroit Lions really as close as we think they are?
Yeah, I think the Detroit Lions are right there. And I believe in the culture that head coach Dan Campbell has built in the Motor City. Yeah, I think the Detroit Lions are going to be right there again, vying for NFC supremacy. And I think this is one of the best teams in all of football.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
What sounds like a fun weekend?
Let's rent e-bikes and have a picnic.
What does not sound like a fun weekend?
We need to fix the gutters. Let's make 6 trips to the hardware store and still end up with leaky spots.
Preserve your weekend, your home, and investment, and call Preserve Services instead. Our Preserve team excels in interior and exterior painting and home repairs. We're your one-stop shop in the Triangle for jobs you need done, but don't want to tackle. And get this, you don't pay a penny until the job's done. Schedule today at preserveservices.com.
Nothing but Michael McDonald today from Max back at the studio.
Well, this is the Doobie Brothers that Dennis claims were ruined by Michael McDonald. So
they were.
Is what I said any different? Let's be real. This isn't Neil Young. This is Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. It's all the same. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are live outside, or inside, whatever you want to say. We are on the left field home run wall of Durham Bulls Athletic Park. Thank you to the Durham Bulls, by the way. We'll shout them out again in a couple minutes here. But the hospitality, I wish they would have turned the air conditioner on out here in the outdoors where we did the show today, because even at 5:44, it still feels like 103. But it is cooling down a bit. It was 107 at the beginning, and as far as the feels like temperature. So, if you're in the shade back there in the stands, kind of behind home plate, it's doable as they get ready to play the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp in about 45 minutes. Or if you're hanging out at one of the bars or restaurants or whatever, you can have a nice little night until it cools down, and then you can go find your seats if they're in the sun.
I think I see way out in right field behind the bleachers a mister.
That is 100% a mister.
Yeah.
If
I'm
we
talking
didn't,
like
if
a male individual, I'm talking like a mist blowing.
Not like a Mr. or a Mrs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. If we didn't have like really expensive equipment that we needed to have, I would say we should set up the misters on us while we are on air. But equipment nonetheless. Either way, even though we are here at Durham Bulls Athletic Park for the game and we're hanging out and we're having a good time, we still need to make our picks and send you out into the weekend the right way. So, Dennis, what are we picking today?
Let's just pick the game behind us. Jumbo Shrimp Bulls.
I'm picking the Bulls if we're being real. Although because we're set up here, I'm going to say this might be a better prediction. Somebody hits the bull. Nice little home run by the Bulls. Hits the Durham Bull, and they get the steak and everything else. I will say I believe the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp won the most recent. I'm bringing up the Bulls schedule, so it could be a little revenge here. But yeah, I mean, it's the Bulls' day.
All right.
Jacksonville. I was about to say the other team isn't used to the heat, but they're from Jacksonville.
Yeah,
so maybe they are used to the heat a little bit.
If anything, they're like, it's cool up here. All right, let's actually we'll go a few baseball games here today because there's actually some really intriguing matchups. If you're just a general baseball fan, there's some really fun matchups if you ever want to dive into a little MLB action this weekend.
By the way, I just brought up. I want to update him since I did bring it up. This is Game 4 of the series.
Yep.
Jacksonville won the first 8-4. Bulls won the next one 3-2. Jacksonville won the next one 4-2. So if you're going the every other thing, it's the Bulls' turn. They should win tonight on a Friday night fireworks night at the ballpark.
They're due. All right, let's actually go to Major League Baseball. Again, some big games taking place tonight, or just some series getting underway, including Dodgers at Red Sox. Dodgers 60-43 on the season. Dodgers are minus 105 on the money line in Boston, but the Red Sox are minus 115 in this. Relatively even matchup, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Is Mookie playing? I believe Mookie's playing.
I believe so.
He should have been, oh, I'm hearing an echo in my ears.
It's all good. We'll take care of it.
Okay, all right. I don't want to start slurring, right? When there you go. My point is, I think Mookie holds a little bit of a grudge against the Red Sox for not making him one of like the legends for life, the Big Papi, putting him in that category. So because of that, I think he hits the home run and the Dodgers win.
Okay, all right. Let's go ahead
and also they have Shohei. Is Shohei still on a five-game home run hitting streak?
On an absolute heater?
I think at one point he may have played a game since then, but I did read a stat that he hit 5 home runs in 5 games, one each game. So if he's still on that streak, then I think he keeps it rolling.
Help me out in the ladder challenge, that's for sure. Let's go Phillies at Yankees tonight. Again, these are a lot of interleague matchups going on. Phillies are plus 135 on the money line at New York. The Yankees are minus 160 on the money line. By the way, Phillies have a record of 58-44 on the season. Yankees 56-46 on the year.
I think Bryce Harper holds a bit of a grudge that he is not included in more conversations with Aaron Judge. It seems like Aaron Judge and Shohei have kind of jumped to another level of conversation of like this era's power hitters. And Bryce Harper. Got my Bryces confused. Bryce Harper probably wants to be in those. He's got an MVP, right? He's got all the accolades as well. So I think Bryce is going to try to prove a point against the Yankees. Also, right, he took big money and he didn't go to the Yankees. He's locked in somewhere else. So give me Bryce Harper to do something special, maybe like a 3-for-4 night, something like that with a walk, 3 or 4 RBIs, and the Phillies win.
A couple weeks ago, I was on vacation. My girlfriend and I went out west in California. We actually went to a San Francisco Giants game, and they were playing the Phillies. And Bryce Harper went 4 for 6, had a home run, 3 doubles, scored 3 runs.
Sheesh.
Like, absolutely just crushed it that day. I was like, yeah, Bryce Harper. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's still really freaking good. Like, let's not forget that.
He's got a strange social media presence. I don't know if you've seen this stuff.
I don't really know.
He reviews stuff on it's. I don't know. He's got maybe he's getting more comfortable in his skin or whatever it is. But it's a little strange on social media. But also, still a really good baseball player. And Trey Turner's there, right? The state guy.
Yeah.
So local guy with local connections also has a big game. They both do something and then beat the Yankees.
Okay. So I mentioned I was at a Giants game.
You did.
Giants at home against the Mets tonight. Mets plus 120 on the money line.
Oh, Mets all day, money line. Let's go. Best team Steve Cohen's money can buy. Who's on the mound? Do we know?
It was Holmes.
Okay.
On the mound.
Yeah, we'll take it. Go ahead and give me the Mets. I'm a Mets fan, by the way, so put my biases on Front Street, if you will, and just take the Mets all day. Will say in ladder challenge I've had horrendous luck betting on the Mets, and maybe that's why you shouldn't bet on your favorite teams.
All right, that's fair enough. Let's go to the old PLL, the Premier Lacrosse League, because I know that's your favorite.
It is.
Tim. The Archers, Utah Archers.
Of course. Everybody knows the Archers are from Utah.
Taking on your California Redwoods tonight. California Redwoods just 2-5 on the season. Archers 3-4.
I do think the Archers name, which is what I pick all my PLL things off of, it's a little too on the nose, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't be like a basketball team and name the Sharpshooters. You can't be a football team called like the Tacklers. So being the Archers it's a little too on the nose. So I'm going with the Redwoods.
Okay.
Are the Chaos playing?
The Chaos actually play tomorrow. They actually take on the Water Dogs. Chaos Water Dogs. Philadelphia Water Dogs.
Water Dogs.
It's great.
What does it mean? Is a water dog is like a sea lion, right?
Sure.
Give me the Chaos. Local team. They're great. They got a good goalie.
They do actually. Blaze Reardon is
the
really,
only,
really
it's
good.
the only thing. Blaze Reardon. Come on.
It's a great name.
I know a guy with the last name Reardon who's a high school lacrosse coach. So
They might be related in some way, shape, or form.
all right, maybe I'll look into it.
They might be related in some way, shape, or form. All right, let's actually go to the pitch. We're going to go MLS.
I want to let everybody know lacrosse and soccer, not my two areas of expertise.
Doesn't matter.
I always feel bad when people like comment like, "Oh, I'm betting on everything that you gave us and making our picks," and I'm like, "Oh, you should not have done that."
You take this as your own risk here. We have the Columbus Crew taking on Orlando, whomever Orlando is. I'm not entirely sure. MLS action here, Tim. Orlando at home taking on Columbus. By the way, Columbus plus 130 on the money line, Orlando plus 180 on the money line, or a draw plus 260.
Orlando City is what the Orlando City SC is
There
what they
you go.
call it.
Them.
Against Columbus, I'm looking at logos here. The Orlando City SC has a little lion head, so let's go lion head with it.
Okay, but Columbus Crew, they actually have a name as opposed to an SC or an
All right.
FC or whatever.
Let's take
is.
this for a minute.
United.
Let's take this for a minute because there's a lot of talk about the Washington Commanders name,
Yeah.
and there's been encouragement from politicians, and there's been discussions about going back to their original name. I don't know if anybody else feels this way. I like Washington football team. I've come around because I used to hate it. I've come around to the soccer way of naming clubs where you just call it like football club, soccer club, Washington football team, the WFT. I'm in there. I think they go back to that. I think it's cool. I think it's unusual. I think it comes with a emphasis on the location of the team rather than the name of the team. If I were, and there's going to be a ton of expansion teams. There's talk about NBA expansion teams. There's talk about Major League Baseball expansion teams. I think I'm in favor of just naming teams like if Raleigh were to get one.
Yeah.
If they just named it Raleigh Baseball Team, I think I would be in on that as a baseball franchise name. So I'm taking Orlando City. I would take out City and just go Orlando SC. My parents live in Orlando. I've never heard it called Orlando City. But I'm in on like the soccer way of naming stuff.
Well, okay. I like the uniqueness of Washington football team because it's unique for that sport.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just soccer, well, if you have like a Columbus Crew or Seattle Sounders, that's unique for that sport. That's what makes it cool.
Sounders is cool. I'll give you that.
Like this, yeah, Seattle Sounders is cool. Like NC, we have the Courage. It's just something that's different as opposed
Courage
to
is cool. I like that.
Yeah, San Diego Wave. At least there's something.
Don't like that. Too on the nose.
Yeah, exactly. But my point is this: like when it comes to soccer here in the United States, have a freaking team name, like Charlotte FC. You dropped the ball here.
I kind of like Charlotte FC.
Do you?
I kind of.
Wow,
I would.
Charlotte FC. How original.
I would rather go SC rather than FC because I'm team. It's soccer, not football. Because football is football. But I don't hate it for Charlotte. Quickly here, thank you to the Durham Bulls for hosting us, the hospitality here at Durham Bulls Athletic Park. It is under talked about how iconic the Durham Bull is. So the fact that we get to do a show underneath the Durham Bull is pretty darn cool. Like, I know that AAA baseball is awesome in its own right, but when you pair it with the history that the Durham Bulls have, I mean, when you walk in the way we do from where the media parking is, you see Crash Davis's retired jersey right there.
Real player, by the way.
Real player and also dramatized character. Like, not everything's the exact same as Kevin Costner.
Didn't he go to Duke? Crash Davis?
I don't know.
I have to look this up.
But either way, it is a, you go into the merch shop, they have all the gear that says like lollygaggers. Like there's really nuclear loosh. Like there's something cool going on here. So I don't want to take it for granted that they allow us to kind of be a part of this whole deal.
He was. Lawrence Columbus Crash Davis was a professional baseball player.
Lawrence
Duke
Columbus.
captain.
I'd go by Crash too.
Yeah. But hey, he played at Duke.
All right. So local ties more than one way. On Sunday, they are giving away 530 hot dogs here at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park before their game.
Yo, let's go.
When you walk in, you get a hot dog, and then every time you go back to the front, you can get 2 hot dogs until they're done, and those are free. 5,030. Did I say 500? 5,030 hot dogs for Sunday's game. So if you can make it out there, you want to go ahead and smash some hot dogs like your Joey Chestnut. That would be the day to do it. You just walk in, you get a hot dog. It's that kind of deal.
Sounds wonderful.
That's on Sunday. They're playing the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp today, tomorrow, and Sunday. So it's a full weekend of baseball here at Durham Bulls Athletic Park. It is a bit toasty, I will tell you that. So
stay cool, folks.
And Dennis's advice: don't wear jeans. Hydrate. If you're a sweater like I am, hydrate. But it's a great time at the ballpark. It is a great time at the ballpark. And with that being said, it's been a fun week. ACC Kickoff, day at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park. We got a 8-year extension for a Carolina Hurricane. There's a lot going on, and hopefully more to talk about on Monday. We'll see you then for the drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. In the meantime, please subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Comment, like, subscribe, all that, and we'll see you on Monday. Have a great night, everybody.
Hi, this is Renee Chu. The most trusted local news in the Triangle is now on the radio. WREL News Plus. Now get breaking news and severe weather reports on the radio 24 hours a day. Listen on the radio at 96.5 FM in Durham